Rather nothing risk than nothing gain. Take a risk or lose the chance. And if your why doesn't make you cry, then the price of success will probably be too high. But realize, look, your mind is like a t-shirt. When it stretch, it never go back to its original size. So just try. We all wanna get in big rooms for what we pursuing, but the biggest room in the world is room for improvement.
This type of murder don't need no hook. Just 40 fucking bars from the mouth of a crook. Yo.
He talking crazy.
He did better than Kobe.
Just another podcast, man. Welcome back. Episode 133. I got young Matt behind the camera. Liddy's in here. William Beam is in here. Chris Featherston. Make sure you say the Featherston. Kim and Bricks are here, and I'm your host, Deem the Great.
What up?
And that was Allen Iverson rapping on some thug shit.
How long ago was that, though?
That was when he was in the league. I can't believe y'all don't remember this.
My life would have been a lot better.
I was so excited when I was driving, and I was like, I was going to play. I told you I was going to play Jeezy gangsta music.
Yo, Kadeem was so hype about this song.
I listened to that song in my Porsche today, and on the way here, it was bomb.
Your Porsche deserves better.
No, man, that beat. Willie's the only one that remembers that time. When that dropped, that's back when Napster was still out. You had to download that song on Napster.
And it took 27 minutes.
Yes, for us to listen to AI. AI was my favorite player balling growing up.
People don't understand the disappointment
Maybe
that you
that's what
felt
it is.
from
No.
downloading a song. And it
It's
wasn't good.
nostalgia,
It's
but
nostalgia.
it definitely.
It's definitely not about the sound of the music.
When he was rapping like that, that's how everybody was rapping.
Yeah.
It would have been a little bit more lyrical. Yeah, no, gangsta
He was a little
music.
offbeat, though.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what I'm
Now
saying.
niggas rap off beat on purpose.
Yeah, that's a fact. But
Come
back
on, man.
then, it wasn't cool to rap.
But that ain't, I mean.
No matter what's cool, if you make it cool, you get the one to make.
You can't
the
compare
money
shit
off.
to this day and age. People is off.
But
Period.
so we're gonna start. Oh, and like my baby always says, make sure you
Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Hit the bell.
John Morant.
Yo.
That's where we're starting the pod today. Normally, we don't talk to y'all about a whole bunch of stuff going on out in the social Twitter sphere or whatever the case may be, but we have to speak on this young man because he's wilding for respect.
What happened?
For what, though?
I don't know why he's wilding. And as we from VA, so we've seen the Plexicos, the Aversons, all these Michael Vick, all these artists still be tied into that type of stuff and what it does to their career. So I want to hear how y'all feel, what y'all think about the situation.
How old is John Morant?
23.
Dang.
What happened?
We don't understand
I'm like-
these little niggas.
I mean, I saw one post, but I think that was the last thing that happened.
John Morant is a max deal player for the Memphis Grizzlies. He is their version of
He's a
Allen
superstar.
Iverson. He's a superstar, and he is, I'll say, alleged to have beat up a 17-year-old on some pickup basketball stuff, and they pull guns on him. They also have said other stuff like, people be at the game like with lasers, like my gun got a laser on it, like pointing lasers at people.
He's how old?
He's 23, but he's an NBA star. Come on,
Yeah.
forget how old he is. He's an NBA star. He has a $200 million contract. They just got rid of Kyrie Irving at Nike, and they gave him his shoe. He is a superstar. The Kyrie Irving might be Nike's #1 basketball shoe.
Does that mean anything, though?
He's a basketball
Like,
star?
can we isolate the 23 and without the
I think it's
the
fair to do that.
multi-millions and
You
I think
can't, because if he's just 23 flashing guns online, nobody's talking about it because that happens every day.
that's a problem too.
It is a problem. So he doesn't have a circle like a LeBron or somebody to be like, bro, don't why. Like there's a video of him flashing a gun on his
That's what
Instagram.
I saw.
What's the and I want to talk to John Morant, but I also want to ask y'all
I
like
want to talk to John Morant too. Should have taken my show up out of here.
I was gonna ask, did y'all have anything stupid that y'all did at that age of 23?
Mad
22?
stupid stuff.
Was it of the same ilk as flashing a gun online?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
One dude.
We're older.
what's his
We're
name?
past that.
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Kills it. People do. I mean, just because you become an athlete doesn't mean that you necessarily lose the urge to do dumb shit. Like
I agree.
had a crazy.
I agree.
It actually
You know
helps
what
you.
I'm saying? Like, huh?
It actually helps you.
But
Helps
I
you do dumb
think
shit.
they're two different things. I mean, Aaron Hernandez and Ja Morant. First and foremost, Ja Morant, at the end of the day, guys, it's a corporation at this point.
Basically.
So Ja Morant is a whole business. He probably brings in more money than certain companies do in a year. Right?
Facts.
So at the end of the day, we have to say you have to address Ja Morant, the corporation, versus Ja Morant, the player.
Yes.
And he understands that he's a corporation at 23 years old.
He should.
He didn't ask to be a corporation.
Yeah, but he is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And
if
the
you wanna-
second-
But
I
it's
think
still
he
good.
did.
You
I
want to
think he
play in the
did.
NBA,
I think he
you know
did.
that you want to be a
I think he did.
corporation.
And see,
You don't go to the NBA and be like, yeah, just give me the minimum.
And look, but hold on, let's go back, guys. We understand that being an athlete now is so ubiquitous and so framed. This guy's been prepping to be a corporation probably since he was 14, 15
Facts.
years old.
Mhm. That's a
So,
fact.
so he probably has 8 years of people telling him he's going to be a corporation.
Yeah. Yes.
The second part, I know this part is going to seem a lot different. Aaron Hernandez was in a violent sport. When Aaron Hernandez died, they actually did research on his brain. This guy had huge case of CT. You're talking about
Yeah.
a guy that literally was mentally ill. I'm not saying Ja Morant is or isn't because we haven't researched his brain.
There's
I'm saying-
degrees.
Right, but obviously Aaron Hernandez was in a collision sport that you continue to see football players, and this is what's scary. I think there was a football player last week that's actually on video beating the shit out
Oh
of
yeah,
his
yeah,
wife.
that's yeah.
These guys are in environments that literally are fucking their mental up, that is creating them to do things on and off the field, and they don't have the ability to turn it off. Ja Morant's not in that experience.
Yes.
So to me, at the end of the day, Ja Morant, and he 15 times more famous and popular as a player than Aaron Hernandez was.
Facts.
They're not even close. Aaron Hernandez was in a closed environment, like Shield. Like people couldn't even probably spot Aaron Hernandez off the street before he started wild.
Facts.
Ja Morant, literally a 10-year-old kid in the suburbs can point out Ja Morant at this.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. Well, to piggyback off of what you said, him being a corporation, is this on brand?
Yes.
We've seen him play. So what's the issue then?
No, I don't think this is on brand. I actually
You don't think it's
Ja-
on brand with John Morant?
No, it's not on brand for any NBA player, bro.
I'll be honest with you. Ja Morant to me was starting to get real widespread corporate love.
Yes, he
Like,
was
just said that,
next, bro.
Literally, Kyrie posted a link about Judaism and African Americans. They literally canceled Kyrie and gave it to Ja Morant.
That's not a new design.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but-
So obviously you're saying that he's starting to get like that baby face image. This guy's in Memphis. He's on commercials. Like people were in my.
They said he has a Powerade campaign that's about to drop for March Madness.
I do not think Ja Morant was being put in a place of like, oh, this guy is this, certain individual like they did with AI. They did try to frame AI as this idea of a thug. Ja Morant, they were putting him
And
closer
they did because to the AI point, they changed the dress code. They changed everything about the league behind AI. That rap stuff. I can't believe you never heard this.
Wait, Chris, you don't think
Not
that?
upset about it.
And I'm asking, and I'm just this is some food for thought.
Any desire.
LeBron is in his late 30s. Kevin Durant's in his late 30s.
So is Steph Curry.
Who do you think the league is? They're trying to point to bring the next group of superstars.
Ja Morant.
No, I'm
LaMelo
just talking.
Ball, Giannis
I'm just
Antetokounmpo.
asking if y'all seen John Morant play. He acts like a thug on the court.
How do you
That's
act,
what he
how do you
does.
act like a thug on the court?
Yeah, how?
He does the little hand gestures. He does that gang shit. He carries himself like a thug on the court. Does he not?
No, I ain't rolling with that one.
All right. Well,
When
I'm gonna roll
everybody
with it.
hit a three
I'ma
and they
roll
go
with
like
it.
this, that's just part of the game.
No, I didn't
bro.
say he goes like this.
Oh,
I said
well,
he does this. He carries himself.
He's done this?
He carries
I
himself
don't
like
know.
a thug on the court. He carries himself like you can't do nothing to me because I'm gang. He's on that young shit. He's on that
See,
young. you
when I
can't
watch
touch me
athletes do
shit.
that, I never feel that way. I feel like that's just some athlete. Like
All I'm talking about his image. I'm not talking about what he actually is. I'm talking about the image that he portrays. I'm saying that
Okay, I feel you.
him brandishing a gun online is on brand.
Let's also talk about this, right? This generation, that 23 and under, I've seen kids from the suburbs, bro, from households with $500,000 incomes, never been in an underprivileged area in their fucking life, do all of this shit.
That's true.
You feel what I'm saying? Like really portray this image. It's weird as fuck. Don't get it twisted. But we gotta come down to their generational thinking. It's different, bro. And we're not gonna understand it.
Why?
And I don't agree with it at all. I'm not. This is not a endorsement of it. But things are different, and it's different in ways we don't understand. You know what I'm saying?
feel you, but I think to Willie's point is like that's true, but everybody's not being prepped to be. He's probably worth $500 million.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But
And they've been
But he's
prepping you
still
to
a
be
kid.
that. Yeah,
He's
I get
still
that,
a
but that's
kid.
where you're supposed to have advisors.
No,
And
absolutely.
I see his
I
dad
agree.
out with him, and his father is basically like his brother, co-signing a lot of the dumb shit he's been doing. But
Which adds to
yeah, no,
the
for
issue.
sure, no, for sure. And you in Memphis, where it's kind of like
Being 23, even if you do have all these advisors and shit like that, being 23 and doing dumb shit is
Right.
your brand. No
Right.
matter who the fuck tells you should or
So
shouldn't.
does his net worth match his mentality? Do y'all think?
Are we not? Is he not still allowed to be a 23-year-old human?
No, I'm not. I'm not
because he's attached to so much.
Well, you know
Everybody,
what?
that's
You
like,
know-
yeah,
you know
but that's
what?
like when celebrities say, "I don't like not having a private life." You're a celebrity.
I agree
It
with
comes
you.
with what you're doing.
Right,
yeah.
You can't get to 200 million. See, people think you get to play basketball and you make money because you're good at basketball. You're good at basketball and people watch it. Millions of people watch it. That's why you make money, not because you can put the ball in the hoop.
There's a lot
It's
of
about how
people
many
out
people
there that are
come
good at
watch the
basketball.
sport. It has nothing to do with your ability to dunk a ball at all.
Right.
It's about galvanizing as many eyeballs on this product, being able to sell a shoe, being able to put people in the seats, being able to
But
sell
it has
concessions.
a lot to do with your performance on the court.
Yes, but
if you're
it's-
not an exciting player,
So you worked hard to be that, and now you're sabotaging. It's self-sabotage.
no, I agree. I'm not defending his activity at all. Let me be very clear.
But we're saying that, like, at the end of the day, like, you have enough resources in front of you to sit there and say, like, the stuff that we didn't have when we were 23, you have people in your corner that's telling you how to move. If you made a decision that you did not want to be responsible, you don't have to sign the contracts. You don't have to play in the NBA.
Facts.
At the end of the day, we all know that if they're giving him $200 million, he's like he said, you're worth $500 million.
Yes.
That means the owner is saying, hey, I'm investing in a product because I can get. Actually, the people who really pay their salaries are not the people shooting up gang signs.
Facts.
Those are not. Those are the people who are suburban, like you just talked about. That want to bring little Johnny to the game.
That run
sit front
FedEx.
row, right?
Facts.
That wants to see you put a ball in the hoop, and they only want to see the people that put the ball in the hoop in the top 1%. 80% of the people in the NBA is not why people come to the game. They come for the Ja Morant's of
Yes.
the game.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely don't want to take little Johnny to see Ja Morant talk about being a blood or putting guns on the internet.
I
That's
agree.
not what they want to do.
100%.
Not on brand.
Yeah, if they want to
Not on brand for what you've signed
not
up
for the NBA. Now, Chris, I
Yes.
know what you're going to say. I think that, don't get me wrong, because this culture is still monetized. I do think that they might take little Johnny to the rap concert to see it. But I'm just saying the NBA is not the space where they want to do it. Now, if they do go down to, like you said, a fucking ESTG concert, because little Johnny's probably there too.
Yeah.
They probably at least say, little Johnny, when you go in here, expect some gang shit to happen.
Yes.
But not at the NBA.
Not
NBA,
at our
NBA
game.
is supposed to be clean cut. NBA has forced itself to try to move away from that image as much.
It is a runway at the games now because of Iverson, bro.
Right.
They getting really dressed to the nine suits. All that. It's not they not playing, bro. That you signed up for that.
Yep.
It come with it.
But I don't think. I just think the net worth doesn't match the mentality, and it's unfortunate because he
Yeah,
has to grow
that's
into
true.
he has to grow into his own net worth and understand the responsibility he holds. And it's kind of like you said, he asked for this, even with his actions. Even if he didn't come out his mouth and say, "I asked to be a role model" or whatever like that, you did by being good at basketball, bro. You grinded your whole life, so people are gonna look up to you. And to be honest with you, forget the role model stuff. It's about protecting your own life. Now you are. You are worth this much money. Literally, you literally have a number on your worth outside of like the intrinsic value and all that stuff. But you have to protect yourself. You don't understand that stuff is attracted. It attracts that energy. Like when you like are acting like that, you're going to attract that energy. People are going to test you. And it's like Ja Morant, bro. You $200 million plus contracts. It's not worth all that. But then I want to speak to what Bricks is saying about the suburban kid. Why, like we talked about this so many times, why is that kind of lifestyle, carrying yourself like you're hard? Because I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm better than Ja Morant. When I was in my early 20s or 19, 20, that being hard shit was the play.
Yes,
it was.
That's why I was gonna play Jeezy first. No, that's what we grew up in.
But it was the play in an environment where we didn't have the same access. All I'm saying is that, and this is what makes it harder for Ja Morant. I actually think that athletes are actually getting smarter.
Yes.
I think there's
Yeah.
so many people who have made mistakes ahead of them, and we can name probably 20 to 30 players that at the same age, with the same success level, who weren't making those same mistakes.
Absolutely.
LeBron has literally set a course for literally not saying
Any
he
of
was
it,
perfect,
yes.
but he was not doing any of those things.
He's
And
damn near perfect.
Yeah, damn near.
But
No,
that's
for
what I'm saying,
real.
but we're also seeing it with football athletes too now, because people are starting to understand the idea that you can make more money from your image than you
Yes.
can even make from being on the court.
Yes.
So I just think there's more awareness on how to behave in this space, because I do think the one thing that's ubiquitous about gangsters, about non-gangsters, is we all agree the idea is to get to the money.
Yes.
So most people, even the most gangster niggas, never affect the bag.
Yes.
So if that's the strategy to get to the bag, and you're selling a product, you have to adhere to at least what they believe you are.
I think the blame should be equally on Ja Morant and his cast.
So agreed. Just like what we were talking about the other day. Yeah, 100%.
But your cast, like Willie said about LeBron, he picked people like, all right, obviously he grew up with other people too.
Yeah.
But Maverick and Rich Paul and all them.
He had a great cast.
He put them around him. He put them in position. It don't look like.
Which is why we can say LeBron is almost been perfect.
And Brick, so we said, even if you're.
Well, he ain't even had no scandal for it.
Nothing. That's what I'm saying.
But we talked about this yesterday when we were talking about Michael Vick. It's like at the end of the day, like even if you have certain things that are infirmities, we don't know none of these athletes or these people that are quote unquote in the media. But at the end of the day, some camps are better at enclosing or hiding things than other camps. So even if John Morant is, maybe he is affiliated with the deepest gangs there is. At the end of the day, his camp should close that off.
Yeah, it shouldn't even be part of your brand. Yeah.
Like you said yesterday, your gang should be so far tied away from John Morant that you don't even know.
Yeah.
When you're really on some boss shit, you should be able to make moves without it ever coming back to you. That's what the whole Young Thug shit is.
But
he shouldn't even be tied to it.
He's out here looking like a lackey though.
Right.
But he's worth $200 million. I think that stuff should be intrinsic. It has to be intrinsic.
Yep.
It has to start. It doesn't matter if I have all y'all around me saying positive things. If I'm not in a place where I can receive it, it's gonna mean nothing. It doesn't matter if his circle has his best interests at heart. When he pulls out the phone, it's easy to pull out the phone, hit live, and just go crazy. It has to be something in you that says, no, I'm not going to do that.
Because I agree with you, because in most situations, a guy with $200 million, they make sure he's protected.
He should be.
You don't even.
He's the bag.
Yeah, you're the bag. You're the guy that we don't allow that to happen.
But that's the way it gets tricky, because I can protect you and lock you in a room, but if I can't protect you from yourself, I can never do that.
No, you're 100%.
I just gave like 5 examples of dudes all from here. Shit, Marcus Vick ain't even make it to the league.
Talented.
And look at Tyrod Taylor. How long he been playing?
Similar player. Too.
Similar player. Same skill set.
It has to be a mix of common sense
Tyrod been in the league
and
for about 10
athletic
years.
ability.
Do the math.
Because we know I know hella people that are good at basketball, football, and all that stuff. That's not enough.
Yep.
That's not enough.
That's true.
And we want John Morant to stay in the league. Shoot, we want John Morant to stay alive.
Right.
Yeah.
But those kids, man, nowadays that stuff is heavy, bro.
I know Nike is pissed.
He looked like he was drunk as hell in the video.
I know Nike is pissed.
I think people have to be very mindful that we live in a different time where we have the Me Too movement. We have socials where people are willing to put you on media. Like, I think it's always happened. I think a 23-year-old making it's normal. You know what I'm saying? But back then they didn't have social media. They didn't have people that were willing to just take out their camera. People want to catch some, something on.
So it's probably more common than we think.
Oh,
Yeah, but
sure.
also
No, I agree. It's
another-
common
You have to
again,
be
but
mindful.
We mean it like from that
but
age,
we
from-
can't
from
speak
back
about
then.
what's common with the
different.
guy that's got 200
And I was
M's
about to say
coming
that. I
through.
think it's also
I
an
agree.
issue that these players, it's rare that we're seeing 22 and 23-year-olds making the money that they're making.
And even back then,
right
to
now.
your point, in the NBA, the money keeps going up.
Right.
Yeah, but and this is the thing, like we're saying, like I agree with you. If social media came out last year, I would agree with you, Kim. I'm saying that these athletes now, at 15 years old, are groomed for social media.
Yes.
I mean, even high school football players.
Bro,
that we
half
come in
our
contact-
kids we coach now got blue checks already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, it's unfortunate because we kind of grew up like this couch. We grew up with the evolution of social media.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
saying that these 23-year-olds
Right.
at 15, there are athletes right now that are being told what to put on Twitter,
Yes.
what to put on
Yes.
Instagram, what to put on Facebook. So I'm just saying that they now know better because of the people that came ahead of them. So they know
They
at
did all the
23
dumb
years old.
shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
because again, guys, this is what's crazy about at least athletics. Maybe acting and rapping is different. Athletics, they kind of know. They know when they're 15, 16 years old. There's right now, you can go to experts in the sport. They can tell you who are the next wave of NBA players,
Yes.
the next wave
Facts.
of NFL players. And those kids even know.
Yes.
They
But
know if
would-
I don't mess up, I can get to the bag.
Yeah,
Would
the
you
projections are
expect
solid.
a 15 and 16-year-old that's in the process of getting groomed for this life? Do you still not, let's say they had 2 years in, do you expect a 17-year-old not to do 17-year-old shit?
They
That's-
are, but what I'm saying is
there's a difference though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what I'm
they're-
saying
they're
is
more aware of the land.
No, but that's
what I'm saying.
5 years though. That's 5 years.
But even those individuals, I just think people don't realize how many leeches and how many people are around real talented kids. I'm telling you, at 17 years old, that kid that's the #1 player in the NBA, he has probably 300 to 400 people in his ear right now.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
literally guiding him, telling him, don't post that. But I bet you half of the young teenagers probably don't even control their social.
You know
Facts.
what? You know what, Willie? And I gotta challenge you because we on a podcast. I want to agree with what you're saying, but I also am thinking they have a lot of people around them just saying what they want to hear.
Yes, man.
And they probably have maybe 1 or 2 people that's going to be like,
If they're
you don't
lucky.
need to do this, you don't need to do that. So the majority, they're going to lean towards the majority of people, the yes men.
I think at 17 you're gonna have the yes men, but they also have the people that's probably putting money in their pocket. You think of how much now with the NIL deals and all that stuff. I think people are actually saying, "Hey, I'm gonna give you this, but I need you to do A, B, C, and D."
Do y'all think Nike is deliberately saying don't be putting guns on your social.
Nike
Yes.
is pissed
Okay.
off right now.
Yes.
We just
Bro.
got over Kyrie, and now we give it to you.
Chris,
Look what happened.
It's actually.
And I'm not saying they're not.
No.
I'm just asking.
I'm saying that actually, and I read this somewhere. They actually put those kind of things in
In the contract, yes.
Like there's certain things you have to do to uphold an image based on you because you're still a representative of the company.
That's why I don't like when they be like, "I'm not a role model."
but-
Because when you sign it, to Willie's point, it's
But
legislation in there.
But you know what?
Come on, man.
But this is why it's the companies are the biggest gangs themselves. The reason why they put that in the contracts because they realize, just like we saw with Kanye, that when these people are brand representatives
Breach.
and they make mistakes, they affect stock prices. And the owners and the stock owners are the billionaires. These are the people get affected. So they're protecting their bag.
Yes.
Because the real gangsters always protect the bag.
Yes.
Rich white men don't fuck up the bag.
Nope.
Right.
They don't.
But we do by playing games like that.
Has he made a public statement yet about?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, he released an apology and said he's going to be seeking help. Because there's a foundational issue here. It's not necessarily if I was a Nike and I saw you brandishing a gun, that's not the real issue here. It's your rationale. It's like, yo, you signed this contract and you think this is cool. So this obviously you're obviously off somewhere.
Yeah.
So this might lead to other mistakes down the line.
And
You know
I'll
what I'm
roll with
saying?
Kim about maturity because it is part of maturity.
Right.
But to Willie's point, you should have like 3 people that be like, yo,
and all-
you
and all-
shouldn't even have a phone, to be honest.
And all I'm
Call
gonna-
me to call you.
And all I'm gonna say is me and Brick talked about this yesterday about a separate topic. We do believe that other ages, other cultures do dumb shit. We're saying those things we don't hear about as much because they are hiding it. Do we think that there's the 40-year-old CEO that's a billionaire doesn't do fuck shit? He doesn't fuck around on his wife, doesn't buy hookers, doesn't do cocaine.
definitely does.
He does. But guess what?
That's not
There's
like
no video of it.
But you know what?
We're not seeing it.
They understand.
And you know what? That's not
discretion.
life or death.
Right.
Our shit, the shit that black people do, be life or death.
Talking about the gang
And-
shit and the guns. and the
Yeah, it'd be
YSL
life
shit.
or death. It's not stuff you can just bounce back from.
Yeah.
You can bounce back from losing money, all kind of stuff, cheating, doing all this stuff. That's not stuff that gunplay is not something you can bounce back from. And I hate to say it because we should allow John Morant to grow, but I feel like he's chasing that hard image, and I think our definition of hard as black people is off.
I do agree
It's
with that.
completely off.
Because even like you think about it, bro, there's probably rich white men, billionaires, mobs or whatever that literally can end people's lives and we would never
Facts.
know.
You would never see
You would
them
never know
online
they're
with a
connected to
gun.
it.
Because they don't
Literally.
need that's what
Bro,
sucks
there are
about
no
it. Because
thugs in the NBA, man.
Because
Right.
It's the same thing.
They do mad vetting and background checks before they even think about giving you any of that money, bro.
It's the
they
same-
don't accidentally slip one in. That don't never happen, bro.
I agree.
The
John-
Plexico bursts and stuff got rid of that. You'll never see that shit again. Them fighting, these be the weakest fights I've ever seen.
John Morant posting a gun is the same as somebody going to get a Benz that they can't afford. We want to look instead of be, and it's just like what Willie said. The mob boss, you ain't gonna know his face because he's focused on being that instead of looking like that. We're so quick to be like, oh, I'm a thug, da 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 da. Are you what? Go.
Even in the BMF
but
documentary,
post a
bro,
video-
they said
but
they
John,
didn't
you
know
know,
Meech what Meech was doing. They just thought he was in the club all the time.
But John,
they actually caught Southwest
But
T
what
on
would
the
be a
phone.
harder video? Me doing all this drunk with a gun or me at the range? That would be a much harder video, Ja.
Right.
Much harder video.
I go crazy at the range.
But that's a much harder video.
Depends on who's watching.
Huh?
That depends on who's watching.
But that's the problem. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know.
The
Black
person
people
who
like to be
thinks
loud
the
and
person
wrong.
who thinks me cheesing drunk with a gun in my hand is cool, that's the stupid corny motherfucker.
All that's corny,
Agreed.
bro. It's a lot of corny stuff going on
and
here. Thank
find
you.
out
Hold
the
on. He
one
threw me
comes
alley
to
oop.
transition.
God damn it. Willie won't trying to fuck with me though. Thank you. 'Cause I was just about to say that's corny. Y'all are funny. One day we're gonna transition clean and nobody's gonna say anything.
Probably not.
But
I was
No,
flowing
we're
with you,
praying
bro.
for you, Ja. We're praying for you, bro. Praying
stop
for you.
doing that dumb shit.
Yeah, we're praying
LaMelo
for
Ball would never.
Oh, don't do that.
No, he wouldn't.
He would not. He would
He's
not.
been
Why? I
groomed,
agree.
like Willie said, to be this the whole
But they-
time.
but they're
There's
not-
no accident
but
that
they're not
he's
gonna give
what he
credit.
is in Charlotte right now. It's
They're
not
not
an
gonna give
accident,
credit
bro.
to LeVar. They're not gonna give credit that way.
Nah, that's
No, because he's a black father, but we all know.
I give it. I'll
we
give him
all give him credit.
Yep.
Shit. And LiAngelo might end up in the league. He got
sure.
2 sons in the league. I ain't heard about LaMelo.
Lonzo in Chicago. He need to be doing the live with the gun.
No, he doesn't.
To get somebody to talk about
Yeah,
it.
right. Yeah, don't worry, I'm in Chicago. Don't play with me, bro.
Hey, that money's still coming through, right?
Yeah.
Them checks still clearing. What is Chris talking about? No, you don't need to do that, bro. You need to go find a shoe deal. Okay,
Yeah.
but what's corny? So that's corny, clearly, right? You getting 200 M's, you doing that, blah, 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 blah. Did y'all see what Michael B. Jordan did on the red carpet?
It was
Yeah.
great.
That interviewer?
Yes.
Ah,
What did he
what's her
do?
name? Laurel.
He called
L'Oreal?
Shorty out for saying that she called him corny back.
Yeah,
in
so she was doing
when he was in
interviews
school.
for Creed 3. And he's out there, and damn, this nigga just blew charcoal in my face. And the young lady was like, "Oh, we go back," and he was looking at her like, "Yeah, we do. And you can call me corny back in the day, right?" He still gave her the interview. It was actually a really decent interview, but people kind of came at him at first for even bringing it up. You got Joe
I think
Budden.
he's corny, period. Like, not.
Why is he
because
corny?
of that. Michael, he just doesn't do it for me. At
So
all.
that's the question. What's corny? Successful, in shape,
Nah.
actor. Her Creed 3 is really good.
Let me say this, right?
No,
And
I thought it was great.
I have some interesting perspective on this topic, right? I think coming up in Brownsville, right, and everybody has their own definition. It's a slang word at the end of the day.
It
right?
is.
And people
meant to
have
be
their
disrespectful,
own,
though.
Yeah, corny. Yeah, it's a slang word, but everyone has their own definition of the word, right? I think from neighborhood to neighborhood, the definition may vary.
That's true.
right? So where I'm from, go ahead. What?
No matter what neighborhood, it's a negative remark.
Yeah.
It's a negative.
Okay, continue. No, no.
So- so-
Nobody's ever called somebody corny and it was a compliment.
He flowed.
No, that's
Yeah,
not
go
true.
ahead.
That's
Okay,
not
all
true.
right, that's why I was
So, like,
asking.
women,
Go ahead.
for women, right? If you, especially if you've dealt with dudes that are like fucked up dudes, right? You could have, and it's like, he's a little corny, but I like him. And that corny, that lameness is kind of
Yeah,
a
'cause that means he's
change
square and
from, yeah, exactly.
responsible.
So it's like the idea of,
It's still a
But we gotta
detractor.
address-
I'm not
Continue.
saying that I like a corny, I'm not willing to deal
Continue,
with a
Bricks.
corny
My
dude.
fault. I cut you off. I just wanted to clarify. It's still a negative remark. But go ahead. My fault.
Yeah, well, where I'm from, the title is given for anyone who is not necessarily, and I don't agree with this, but if you are doing the right thing in life, if you're not in the streets, if you're not getting fast money, if you don't wear a certain thing, if you don't present a certain way, if your energy with females aren't a certain way, then you're considered corny, right?
How is the sexiest man alive as they've proclaimed
So here's
him
the
to be
thing, bro.
Also,
There's certain aspects of the definition that I relate to.
continue.
Those
No,
are two
Bricks.
separate things, though. You're talking about physical aspects, things
I mean,
that you
it
wear,
goes-
things
it's
that,
a holistic
and
thing.
something how you act. I've known people that don't wear designer shit and it's very swaggy. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like swaggy
Yeah,
and
no,
like.
But I like what you're saying, Bricks. What Bricks is saying is that it depends on the environment. If you're in a room full of like drug dealers and doing all that kind of shit, they will say, and you're the guy that comes in and like, I don't do drugs, I don't do that. They'll think,
They're
oh,
like,
you're square,
you're
you're
corny.
corny.
Yeah.
I get it. Like you're saying, like they're saying that because you don't align to the energy or to the things that they consider to be how to live, that you're the opposite of that. So they would use corny to like differentiate you from their lifestyle.
I would
That's
go more
corny.
with square. I've
And
been
that's
called corny and square
And
before.
that's corny.
So
Right.
that is corny. But it's always been known to be.
But it is
Even
negative.
and to your point, they went to school together. So whatever
Right.
corny she used, nigga, he knew what the fuck she meant when she said it to him.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
true
hurt.
too. That's true too.
But
I
continue.
understand why they would call him corny. Let me say
Right,
that.
right.
I understand why somebody will call Michael B. Jordan corny, but I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. It's different.
But can I also say this because we talked about generational? I think that when we were growing up, I do agree with you. I think there was a big wave of this whole idea of like gangster energy and
was.
trying to be cool and all that stuff. I do think that now this idea of being cool and not corny is different.
So hold on, I think the term is outdated now.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me be clear. Let me state that for the
Positive.
record. It's outdated.
We wise enough,
But
that's
from
why.
but from
Right.
from what I grew up defining corny as,
I do
he
agree.
applies.
But honestly, that was always the negative of black culture. The fact
Yes.
that we did define that. As
Absolutely,
I
agree with that.
Yes.
Because a guy that's literally going being like an actor. This guy's probably going to private school in New Jersey, and this obviously seeing where this guy.
They said they
becomes.
joked him for bringing his headshots to the jump.
Yeah,
Bruh.
but see, but that's the funny thing is like now, like in other areas that would have never been the case, and only in our culture,
In
where we
winning
think-
cultures.
right, exactly.
No,
But
absolutely.
in our culture, the idea of you're not popular, if you don't have this, you don't have that, you're considered corny. That's whack. The guys that actually have aspirations that are actually doing something. You're talking about a guy that literally, if he was bringing his headshots to high school, that means this guy
been-
manifested
yes.
who he is since
Today,
that time.
yes.
And he believed in himself.
All the
Can
way
I-
to the
but can I say something, right?
directorial debut.
So the things that I do, right? I do yoga every day, right? Niggas from my
people
hood,
think that's corny.
They would think that I was corny, right?
Right.
And that's cool. But what makes you corny is when you think I'm corny, nigga? Like they can say that shit all they want. I would never even play into that narrative because I know who the fuck I am.
Right.
You know
You
better.
feel what I'm
too.
saying? Like I know who I am.
You know better too.
Absolutely. So what make him like I would never address that shit because I know who I am.
No.
This is where I'm gonna pull away from y'all on this.
No, but I disagree.
I would
with
never.
that. No, but see, bro, but it's one thing. She was now trying to get something from him.
Facts.
Right.
And I think now it's like, okay, I don't mind not addressing it, but
And he
now-
still gave her the interview.
Right, but you're now coming up to me at the height of my career. This is the height of his career now. He's directed, and now you're trying to extract off of my energy.
And you want to be like, remember, we go back.
right.
No, hold on, because I think that you have, for me, being corny is a mindset. To me, right? The most hardest dude, the most gangster dude to me, if you do it too much, that could be corny to me.
Yeah, but
it
it's
doesn't matter. Like,
corny in the mindset is to him. He's not
so
gonna think
he
he
had
corny.
the opportunity to be cool. You could have chose to be cool and not say that shit.
But to Willie,
See, but
you
so
him.
because
Hold on.
I'm with the energy. Like, no,
I am
fuck
too.
you.
Hold on, time out.
And he still gave the interview.
And he still gave the interview. Now, if I don't
Yeah.
fuck with you, I bring that up, and then I still go at it. This is something that ain't got nothing to do with being corny. Bricks forever told me it ain't sustainable to do the stairs that long for that much time. Blah 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 blah. But he ain't know me. He met Husky Kadeem, so I can't be mad at him for how he feel about that. But I know me. But I still reference that shit all the time.
Right.
I'm never letting that shit go. That shit is burned into my mind. I will be on the stairs and be like, this nigga told me this shit wasn't sustainable at 10 minutes.
Oh, let's go. Well, I'm
So
glad
he
I
probably
added
was
that.
like, oh, they think I'm corny. Now I'm on The Wire.
Yeah.
Now I'm on this movie. Now I'm on this movie. Now I go home and that's bitch that I used to know that used to call me corny.
I'm not
She want to
against
interview.
him. I'm not
Exactly. I
against.
think it was like a soft
Can we
pull.
take
And I
it-
still gave you the interview and I brought Jonathan Major
but can
over.
we
And
take
I
it-
made you more popular because that shit went
Can
viral.
we take it for what it
Hell
literally?
yeah.
Can we take it at face value? She asked, "Do you remember? You remember me?"
I do,
I'm gonna
bitch.
tell you
Like
what I
yesterday.
remembered.
Facts.
Period. I'm not gonna say and try to sugarcoat it for you because we on TV or whatever. You said, "Oh, remember?" Okay. Now you cast me down
feel
memory lane, and I'm gonna give you what I remember.
Yeah.
It's not corny. Sorry.
I don't think so. I don't agree.
And because we are a relationship podcast, I want to address something Kim says. There's no guy alive that wants to be referenced when they're with the girl with their friends. Oh, I'm with him because he's corny.
Or
That's
I
like-
like him, but he's a little corny, but I like him.
Corny is
No, but
no
people
corny.
like it. No.
Willie,
Is that why you
but
with me?
corny is
I'm
all
corny?
Right.
Corny is all. No. We have to drill that down.
That's
Corny
exactly
is
what I'm
always
with.
negative. Lane is
negative.
always
Yes.
negative.
Yes.
I think we need to.
Square
we need
is
to ask
negative.
why.
Yes.
I want to ask y'all a question, yo. Why was the drug dealer or gangster or thug considered cool? Why is that? Why is it attractive?
Ask him.
Because they had stupid
That's not
shit when we
true.
were looking for stupid shit.
I think
they had
that-
money. They had
I mean, that's
bitches,
who's
they
celebrated,
had cars. They had
you know,
whatever the fuck.
But I think this also
Nothing that has to do with character,
They had
Chris.
the things.
No, hold on. It's also an energy of freedom, though. I think on a deeper level, it's also, yo, this person doesn't follow rules. This person is getting it on their
Yeah,
own
they're
accord.
rebelling, yeah.
And then when you
Yeah.
look at the person, that's why the nerd is always seen corny because he seems to be walking a path that's been instructed for him. He's not blazing one. The drug dealer is more so blazing, and he's saying, yo, I'm going to go
I
get
think
money
as long
on my
as you
own
do
terms.
it, and whatever lane, I told him this the other day. We was talking about, and I told him, I was like, yo, pick a lane, stay in your lane and pave it well. Whatever it is, as long as you're, to me, whether you're straight and doing the right thing, or you're a drug dealer, as long as you're cool about shit, that's cool to me. Anything else, to me, it's a mindset.
So what does it
Corny-
mean to be cool about it? What do you mean
But
by
I was
that?
about to say, because you just said Michael B. Jordan strikes you as corny, but
To
if
me,
I'm the
I
guy,
just
I know
think
I want to be an
he's corny.
actor. I got my headshots. I'm in school. I'm telling people this is what I want to do, and they're like, "Oh, he's
Nah,
corny."
in my hood, that nigga is corny.
You know
He
what I
is.
think?
He
I
is.
think-
Why though?
I mean, I don't agree with that being
Hold on a
true. Let me be
second.
very
I'm asking
clear.
why.
Hold on. If I was the
I'm trying to tell
interviewer-
y'all, I've been called. I'm into all kind of nerdy shit. I've had people say Kadeem's super cool. I've had people say he's a square, he's corny, he's this and a third. And I can shoot. I ain't one of these play around. I'm trying
Let me
to
ask you
tell you.
something. The person I called you corny, do you remember who that is?
I remember everybody who's ever slighted me ever.
But I don't like the fact
don't.
that I don't
No,
like
man.
I don't.
I take that energy,
Am I
I
bugging?
bottle it up,
I don't.
and I use it for positivity.
But you know what's crazy? I don't like the
They
fact.
used to guess what I was going to wear before I got on the bus at school.
Here comes the trauma.
Here comes the trouble.
No, it's not trauma. That shit set me on a war path. That's not trauma.
Why isn't it trauma?
It's not,
listen.
because I don't feel. I'm not traumatized by it. I was traumatized at the time when I had to be like,
No, not
damn, I got 4 shirts and I knew I wore this one on Monday. And if I get on the bus and they say I was gonna wear that, they was right. Those niggas were all Chris Rock when back. I'm like, God damn, I went to school with the funniest niggas alive. I did, man.
Niggas on my block used to
Yo, they
burn
would
me
be
up,
crazy,
too.
but you can't say nothing. But I don't, bro. I was at my man's funeral. He's like, damn, you came a long way from that Kia. I had a Kia on 17s, and he was like, we used to joke you for that, and they didn't even have no cars.
And
That's
But I
nigga
was
shit.
corny. I was
That's
the first
shit.
nigga out my way with a car.
Again, I'm not advocating for this.
I'm just
Let me be very
saying.
clear. I'm not.
When you
It's
grinding,
whack.
people don't respect that. Like you said, it's the who's hard. And I once I started getting my own money, then people started switching. That's why I was like, I only fuck with people that fuck with me for me. I don't fuck with people that fuck with me because I got this or that. You call me corny, like that's weird. All that shit's weird.
Our idea of corny is fucked up because our idea of cool is fucked up.
Hold up.
The problem.
It's just that shit.
100%.
And even when I don't remember who said it, but if me and Matt differ on something, like say I sell drugs and Matt doesn't, I'm not calling him corny. That's corny to me. The fact that me and him differ doesn't make him corny. I think people be threatened by shit. I think people be like, "Oh, I sell drugs." They be insecure about their own shit that they do. So when they see somebody coming through on a different path that didn't take the one that they got or didn't subscribe to that bullshit that they doing, they say, "Oh, he corny."
All the drug dealers in my hood never advocated for drug dealing. It was never a thing that they celebrated.
I don't know anybody.
There's no big homies anymore, though. Niggas don't do that shit anymore.
That's true.
I think that's a part of the issue with this generation.
But Chris, you said something that obviously and Bricks would agree. Like, you said something that like they talk a lot about in the red pill community, like this idea that women do think they're going to go be with somebody who's a rebel, who go blaze their own path, blah 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 blah. So early stage when the woman is in her youth, she does believe that that's cool, and the guy that's not doing those things is corny. But as a woman now starts to understand their own value and starts to understand what really they should prioritize, their value or what they think is corny and cool has shifted. The nigga that they thought was cool when they were 25 now is corny, and the nigga that's 30 that's actually where they want to be is cool. There is no space I can think of a guy in high school that has an ambition, that has a goal, and knows who he wants to be, even if we use Kim's definition of staying in their lane, and actually achieves their lane at the highest level, could ever be corny to me.
Ever.
It flies
I don't even
in the
know
face
how
of the definition
I don't
Kim just
know.
laid out.
Can I say this to what you're saying?
What is his? Hold on. What does the Rotten Tomato say?
90% on Creed.
On
3.
your first direct? God damn it!
You directed that?
Yes. But he's corny. Y'all tripping, man.
But I'm saying, but there's other cultures where literally, like Chris just said, that when you're 15, 16 years old, you're allowed to dream, you're allowed to inspire, you're allowed to do those things, and you get around people who actually believe in you and don't call you corny and say, "Bro, can't wait till you make it. You're gonna be the next Denzel. You're gonna be the next this person," and those people are allowed to thrive. Only in our community where somebody can give their dream, say, "This is what I want to do," and you're like, "Yo, you're corny."
Misery
It is
loves company, bro. Period. And we come from oppressive states. So anybody that's doing something and actually looks like they're actually gonna make it, we might say this corny to try to deter them.
Right.
And also, I don't know, man. I just think we got to change the definitions of corny. And
We do, bro. Like
it's flipped on his head.
And you think about, I got a son that literally, bro.
John Morant flashing
Corny
guns
is the new cool to
corny,
me.
bro.
But
Corny is the new cool to me.
How did she respond though when he said what he
She
said?
just he gave her the interview. She said, "I didn't call you that. We all used to
Wasn't
joke."
it Dominique who called him corny?
No, Dominique called him corny after this. This was, let me insert myself into this conversation, like Dominique did, Joe Budden did. All these other people came out and said what they said about Michael B. Jordan. Keep talking about me. My movie just came out.
If I was a girl that was doing the interview and he said that to me, I'd have been like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry."
Oh, let me ask
I
y'all a
know
question.
You thought about this all the time. I'm really glad that
Thought
you
about this all the time. Look, see, and now you don't get the interview. And we're out.
It was a sarcastic energy on it. He wasn't like mad.
No, he wasn't.
He was like he was making a joke, and like you said,
Yeah,
he still
he
did it.
still gave her the interview.
Chris, this is the funniest thing is the girl got more exposure.
Thank you.
when
That's what I'm
interacting
saying.
with him.
Yes.
So you're
Yeah.
talking about a guy that literally you talk shit about.
Gotta give.
He actually now made you even.
He doubled
people
down
know
on
who
you.
you are.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to thank
No
him
one
off
knew who
that.
you were 2 weeks ago.
Nobody.
Right. Because if he didn't say anything about the corniness, it
We wouldn't even be talking about this interview.
Right, and he would have just
Right.
egged you and just
Right.
kept going like he
Right.
should have. Like you guys said, it actually would have been worse for her career.
That's what I would have done.
Right. So
That's not corny?
Exactly
Right.
what
No,
I would
that's
say.
not. No, it's not, because I still can choose who the fuck I want to interact with on the carpet.
So
why would I choose to interact with someone who I feel this kind of way about?
But him referencing it doesn't mean he still feels some type of way about it.
Right.
I don't feel
He
about
did,
it.
but his
but
name
you know
was like this the
what?
whole
But
time.
you know what?
it wasn't.
But you know what?
Did you watch the whole interview?
From the beginning, when he first was standing there, like
She sat with her.
I'm about to get this bitch work.
Hold on,
No,
Bricks.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm about to get this bitch work."
hold
That
on.
was his
I
energy
don't
from the
agree.
start.
I gotta help Bricks out.
Have you seen this video?
Hold on. Because the fact that they called him corny was because he was pursuing acting. Now it's ironic that you're on a red carpet
Interviewing
with
me.
because of
Yes.
acting.
Yes.
The fact that the fact that you are at the fame that you are at is because of what you ridiculed me for.
Yes.
It's so poetic to a degree because you were joking me for carrying around a comp card, but now you are on the red carpet seeking my likeness.
Bro.
And what I did when you called me
And
corny.
I do. He did. He had to raise eyebrow, but it was more on some like, yeah, I remember you.
Bro.
Like, I remember what you said about me, and I gave you an interview. I don't
It
think
looks like he was
loading
up. Nah, he didn't even.
That's
He
whack.
didn't disrespect it. No, I agree. If he'd have did that and tried to shit on her, that would have been whack.
Bro,
But referencing some shit you did to me 10 years ago, I'm over it. But I ain't gonna forget you did the shit.
And I got one data point. We all have kids here. So we all pray and dream that our kids have a dream or an intention and that they continue to pursue those intentions and those dreams without worrying about somebody calling
Facts.
them corny. Brick's got a daughter trying to do a rap career. You don't think there's somebody texting like, oh, that's corny. You don't think my son's trying to be a football player. You don't think somebody telling him, oh,
He
that's
can't do it and
corny.
all this other shit.
Exactly.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, we go out of our way. Like if we even knew somebody said that about one of our daughters or son, we'd go pull up on them right the fuck now.
Bruh.
Yep.
You would never tell me my son's shit is corny, and
And
nobody
let me-
would tell you your daughter's shit is
Let me
corny.
say this
All
though,
of-
because that moment, like people dream about that moment. People dream while they're dreaming and working towards their goal. Like, oh, I'm gonna shit on these niggas.
Yeah.
When I get
And
it.
if that's your
I
fuel,
just-
that's your
I think
fuel.
that's
And
a
I don't think
part
he was
of-
doing it like super mean, but he did have that energy. Like, I'm gonna pull up on her and say,
But
remember that shit you said?
But what's dope is he was
Remember
able
you
to
said that
block it
shit?
out and keep it moving.
And he can't-
And so, but this
He
is
gave her a good interview.
But here, now let's go
He did.
back to what we just said though, and even in social media, we live in a world now though with our kids where people have access to say that to your kid behind a keyboard all the time. When he was coming up, he probably heard it through the grapevine. Now you got a serious situation where your daughter can post a video, my son can post a video of their dreams, and somebody can sit there and go, "That's corny,"
Yep.
and then it can be documented because now you got group think where now 5 other people can say, "That's corny, that's corny,
Yep.
that's corny, that's corny."
And
So
you
you're
gotta,
telling me that you would pull up on the person rather than speak life into Little Willie and be like, "Yo, that
Yeah.
comes
No,
with it."
we're talking about the energy.
I'm with her
at,
on
the
that
end
one.
energy at the end of the day, any father, any parent is protective of their kid. And if they felt like somebody was literally trying to hurt their kid to where it would literally demotivate them, your energy would be, yo,
Oh, yeah, what you told me the teacher
but
told him.
I agree. You have, but you would
100%,
have to speak to.
Would you get what I'm
you would
saying?
have to speak to Little Willie.
Yes.
You can't.
have to do
You're always gonna be corny or
Right.
To
he's-
somebody.
Right.
Pull
So,
up
and-
energy. Pull up energy.
Everybody's
and
not gonna
practical, and
like
what you're
you.
gonna do in
Right.
practice is different. At the end of the day, if somebody, again, I'm gonna use Bricks and I'm gonna use my own daughter. If a man punch your daughter in the face,
That's
are you gonna
different.
you gonna have let me talk to your
That's-
daughter?
no,
And
that's
your-
different. You-
Bro,
no, but
telling
that's
your
different.
Kid, your kid's ambitions and career goals and literally something. If your daughter came in the room and said, "I don't want to rap no more" because someone said, it's gonna feel like somebody punched her. in
But
the
that's
face.
different. I wouldn't, but I'm not. But I'm also still not pulling up.
But, bro,
I'm gonna.
pull up energy and application energy are different.
I agree,
But
but
I said you would have pull up energy.
I'm pulling up
Let
on
me-
her.
let-
I don't like
And
what y'all are even talking about. Pull up energy after all
Hold
the
on.
shit y'all told me.
Let me say this.
I'm talking against it.
Yeah,
My
he is.
12-year-old son, okay, just started getting into girls. And when we was in Thailand, he asked me, he was like, "Mommy."
He was in Thailand asking about the shorties. My man was on him.
Exactly.
Too, and then you be some kids. They'll be. And then, but here's how fucked up people are. Here's how fucked up people are. And
He's trying to find
there's
a
some
wife.
kids at the school that would call her son corny if he brings up Thailand. Oh, you go to
Yeah.
y'all got money. Those people are
Let me
off
tell you
base.
something.
They're
I
off
will
base.
instill in my son all the time. Like in Thailand, he asked me, he was like, "Mommy, what does non-chantlet mean?" And I was like, "Non-chantlet." He was like, "What does that mean when somebody's being non-chantlet with you?" I said,
hell does that mean?
Nonchalant.
no, yeah, I was like, "Oh no, baby." I was like,
Oh, I thought it was a.
We
Yeah.
thought it was a new
Y'all
word.
was
I was
like,
like, Thai word.
Y'all are Thai talk about words I don't know.
No, I didn't know either, Chris. I was like, non-chant.
I literally told him, I was like, it's nonchalant and fuck him. For me, like, I need him to know, nobody could ever call you corny. You're you. So I don't have to pull up. For me, I'm always trying to consistently, like, embed in my son, like, you're a winner at all times. Like, do not let any, there's going to be people that don't agree with you. There's going to be people that challenge you. It's going to be chicks that, whatever, like, at the end of the day, to me, the pull-up energy or even responding, I always tell my son, be cool. Sheep or shepherd. Every day when he gets out of my car, I ask him, Makai, sheep or shepherd? Shepherd. And that's just a reminder, like, people are watching you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's dope.
you need to set the example every day. Don't be a sheep. You know what I'm saying? And every single day when I drop him off, I ask him, sheep or shepherd? And he'll say shepherd. I'm like,
A
all right,
lot
have
of
good
people
day.
think the shepherds
Yeah,
are corny.
but I'm
Yeah, that's a fact.
But I'm gonna continue to challenge Kim. There's a line where we can continue to give like practical application, and there always are going to be a time, we talked about this in the podcast yesterday, where there's action. There's a line to where Briggs can sit there and tell his daughter something, and then have protective energy. There is always a parent line. Like, and I
Of
get
course.
So what I'm saying is, when it comes to my kid's dreams and his ambitions and what he's focused on, I know how serious my son is about football. I know how serious you're something.
And that should be enough.
Right. No, wait. But what I'm saying is, if somebody did have the ability to literally tear down or hurt or implement something, my initial response, and I actually was just talking to AD about this, I'm never, ever going to apologize for my initial feeling. My initial feeling would be pull up energy. Application may be, I'm going to go talk to my kid and build him back up. But the instant feeling of somebody telling your daughter come in the house and said, Julian punched me in my eye, it's not going to be, oh, baby, what did you do to get your eye punched?
No, nobody.
If it requires a pull up,
No, nobody's
then
saying
he
that.
knows I will pull up to my
for
children.
physical shit. No, right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, but let me differentiate having pull up energy, like we talked about the other day, and applying the pull up are two different, Chris.
Yeah.
Your first
No, I
initial
agree.
reaction can be.
I understand
No,
what you're
really,
saying.
I'm disagreeing with. I'm not asking
I don't
my
wanna have
daughter.
the
I'm not
energy if I'm
asking
not
my
gonna
daughter
use it.
what you did to get punched in the face.
you did.
I'm talking about when you talk to your
No, I'm talking
daughter.
about the last one. I let it slide. Anyway.
But all I'm saying is that I'm just saying that we should get into a space where now we understand that our kids are now even more susceptible to people doing the things that he
Agreed.
did to Michael B. Jordan. So we do have to continue to breathe life into our kid even more.
right.
Because
They're-
social
Let me
media
ask you
allows
something
you to
about
I like what Chris said about corny. What did you say, bro? You need to put that in the next quote book.
Oh, the idea of corny is fucked up because the idea of cool is fucked up. They're both polar opposites of each other.
If your son was a chef and his dream, right, was to like make food and be a chef, a professional chef, and let's say he made food and a food critic came and demolished him, like gave him a terrible review, do you have an instinct that's like, yo, I'm gonna go, like,
Pull up on
where
the
you're,
The pull up
or whatever,
energy
like where,
feeling.
If my son was
and he crushed his dreams, and it made your son question, like, damn, should I be doing this?
If my son was 15 and there was a person or something that somebody did something where I felt my son was hurt or in danger or in fear of something, my initial reaction would be, I would like to go find him. What I'm actually going to do is what you said, but that doesn't change. Nobody should ever, and I'll say this on the pod, never apologize for how something makes you feel initially. Fuck what everyone else says. If that's how I feel when it first happened, I'm going to lean into it. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to build this person up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go find a 15-year-old, but it's okay as a parent for your first feeling to be protective.
Willie.
We all would do it.
All you're talking about is emotional intelligence.
Right,
I get
exactly.
exactly what you're saying.
And
You're saying-
discernment.
Right, exactly.
All you're saying is the initial emotion is going to be anger, of course.
Right.
And then you're going to reshape it and rechannel. That's it.
100%. But I think the cool
next
thing
one.
about it is I think what we're saying, and we said this with John Morant, is that I do think we need to even have more emotional intelligence now, because I do think that there's going to be more people that have access to this next generation to be able to say things and sway them than ever before. And so John Morant may be dealing with the same thing. We got to remember, we don't know what his prayer view looks like. So now you live in a world where 2,000 people can call you corny and it's visible.
Let's just say this on camera. The only thing that's genuinely and really corny is dishonesty. That's it. And the only reason why I call what John Morant did is corny, because he's not a thug.
I agree with that.
You are a basketball player, bro.
I agree with that.
Be a
Play
basketball player.
ball.
That's why it's corny.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Period. If you out here selling drugs and you honest about you selling drugs, you're not corny to me.
Right.
You are
Being your
corny if you're
authentic
posting
self.
it. You're not even a good drug dealer now.
Facts.
Do you know that about
Right.
his history though? Like, did he grow up in the suburbs?
But to me,
He been playing.
but to me, it doesn't matter.
'Cause what you are now.
Your predominant identity is a basketball player. Period. That's what's getting you the money. Not being a thug. You're not making 200 million.
I'm a roll
off
with
being a
Kim.
thug.
If you grew up in an environment where you was starving and you was in the streets, and now you got 200
That's kind
million.
of hardwired
Let me
into
tell you
you.
something.
Okay.
This man does
I feel you, I feel you.
meditation and
Okay.
yoga
Okay.
every morning
Try,
from 6 to 8
but try and be
o'clock. Let me
both.
be very clear.
Try and
It's
be
still
both. Go ahead and be both. Go ahead and
No,
be
you
both.
shouldn't be both, but I'm
Go
saying it's a
ahead.
little different. When
Let's see how it works out for you. Go ahead and play both sides of the field. We've seen that with all these rappers. They want to be rappers and thugs at the same time and they end up dead. Now you one thing.
But Chris,
No, but I'm
not
saying
even
at
just that.
23, can you channel? He's 39 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's now at a place where he's able to channel that whatever it is, where he doesn't react right away.
agree.
He's able.
That shit is
so
still
at
very much
23
in me.
All of-
Exactly. So how much more at 23?
Bricks, they had to
But I
talk
don't
me
know
off the
his-
ledge. I was gonna
But
smack a
it's
nigga a couple
it's
weeks
a
ago.
weapon on your belt. It is not your dominant identity. You're not walking around grabbing your nuts with a hat cocked doctor all the time biting your lip.
Why is that?
I actually have a point. I have a point to Chris, and I actually can point to Kim. Even with that being said, and Bricks having that inside of him, I know we've had multiple business meetings where we still have discernment about, okay, here's what we're actually producing from a content perspective. Here's the image we need to make sure that we're constantly producing and communicating to differentiate that from what may be something intrinsically in you. So when you still got to do, from a business perspective, you got to meet people where they are. John Morant, his main business is basketball. You gotta meet
No, hold on, time out. I got it.
Oh, boy.
John Morant, call Willie. He'll get you right.
Yes. But
He will help you.
Let me ask y'all a question.
So
He can run your corporation. Please.
Some sort.
Please.
Yes.
What-
Because
what-
at the end of the day, because it's just like in all the business that when you can have things that are hardwired into you, and you can still be focused on how you monetize or what's your business. And at the end of the day, we still say that John Morant, you're in the business of basketball. You're not in the business of being a gangster. So even if it's hardwired into you, what should be being portrayed externally is.
Absolutely.
You know what?
can-
He might
ideally-
think that shit is corny.
You
He might think
can-
having to be all
do
street
you
and,
think
like,
that he would,
suited up
after this happened and it was blasted on social media, do you think now he's going to move forward in a more...
Yes,
Of
because
course,
he's about
we've
to
already-
fuck the money
But
up.
we-
But we've already stated.
gonna
John
learn
Morant
and grow
should.
from
John
this.
Morant should be able to grow naturally as a 23-year-old. That's already stated. We're just talking to him as a just as a placeholder for this.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
think
for the issue
also,
itself.
Yeah, I'll also just say, what do we say about the loudest person in the room? If you know you can fight, if you know you can hold it down, are you just carrying yourself like that? And typically the dude that's carrying himself like he can beat everybody's ass in the room is trying to avoid a fight. Period. That's scared energy. If you really on that thug stuff, like Willie said, if you really on that mobster stuff,
You'll
we
never see
wouldn't know. So the fact that you're projecting that out is telling me you're not that. It's telling me that.
Okay, so
Rap culture.
That's,
Just for the
that's
sake-
dishonesty.
just for the sake of not moving backwards, because I feel like we went here before, although it
you
is
about to
all
transition?
related.
Yeah.
It feeds off each
Not
other.
exactly.
It
But
feeds
I'm
off
about
each
to
other.
like wrap it up, basically.
All right.
Okay.
When it comes to being corny, I feel like at the end of the day, being corny is anything that's inauthentic to who you are.
I already said
Even
that.
if you're
No.
shut up.
Chris did
Even if you're changing and
trying
shit
to-
is hardwired.
See, that's
into
corny. You trying to thieve my stuff.
No, I'm trying to rap like Chris said. Y'all are ridiculous.
I was like, damn, Chris just said that.
That's what I'm saying. If your fucking thing is to collect what are those squishmallow, whatever the fuck those
don't know what
pillows, that
Oh my
shit is
God.
kind of corny.
This
but
wrapping paper is horrible.
when they don't make them anymore and you can sell one for
All right,
50,000,
guys.
that's not corny no more. So just do what you want to do.
I like it.
Good job.
Shut
We
your
all
corny ass up.
can do better with our content if we repeat what Chris said.
Yes.
We taking a
Hey,
break.
welcome to the Chris Evans.
We taking a break.
Wrap that shit up. Y'all was going.
I'm about to do one right now. I'm like, yo,
We taking a break?
Corny is being. I already posted that before Chris.
I'm about to do it too. Hold on. No, we might have to. Hold on.
Hello,
So I don't know where I'm gonna start this at. Target the ones that just got dipped. They washing away
Man.
some shit. They're the born again virgins.
No.
Don't target them.
They're
No.
the weak ones, bro.
No.
Chris, give us the line.
Chris, whatever you say, this is
Hold
going
on, let me ask y'all a question.
Go ahead.
What are they trying to reform?
Give the people context.
Yeah.
Give them context.
All right, so for everybody
like-
who don't know, we
Matt
just came
got
back
on
from a
church
break.
shirt.
Matt was at church before he came here, and I was asking him, does the shirt he get him the girls at church? I didn't phrase it that way, but you know.
Right.
And so we started talking about it, and Chris said he a wolf, and he said, which women to target? Which women did you say he should target,
Oh
Chris?
yeah, target the woman that just got baptized
Wow.
And I disagree.
because it's
They're
almost-
washing away their past
No, they're
that they
not.
don't want to
That
tell you
wash
about.
away nothing. It
Look,
helps
Lydia's
them-
like, I can do that?
that water, that well water they put in that tank don't wash away nothing. That means they have done some things in their life they're not proud of, and they're trying to.
That's
repent.
exactly why you don't target them,
And
Chris.
no, key word is trying. They're trying to repent. So basically,
I don't.
you go in on that weakness. They're trying to repent. You test the waters per se.
No.
You test the waters.
No, Matt, because when we
Baptism
see you with
water.
her, we like, oh, he got with her after she just got saved. We're like, she's saved now.
Yeah. She
Like the future.
she said that. You come and praying for you. And you come through like you the answer, bro.
Last week she was doing things.
Do you know what she was doing before she got washed, bro?
Y'all think it's crazy.
Yeah, she was wet-eyed.
Oh my God, you're going to hell.
The blasphemy must stop right now.
I'm conflicted between Chris and Kenny. I kind of agree with
No, man. Do not target the girl that just got baptized.
Not.
Get her before.
I mean, if it's on some slipper shit, some weird shit,
You be the reason why she's getting baptized. Facts. Facts.
I'd rather play that. I'd rather play that position.
That's a better position to play.
That's a better position.
Don't listen to Chris.
Make her
She washing away 100 bodies on you. Ain't gonna tell you she a born again virgin. Boy, you better get the hell out of here. That's what they doing, man.
I've been persuaded. I agree with Kenny. Be the reason why she's there
Don't
on
do
Sunday,
it.
nigga.
Be body 100, and she be like, I gotta change some things. But don't be the one afterwards.
Nah, I don't want to be body 100.
Put the camera on me.
Give me like 17 or something. Right. But not 100. I'm
Put the
sorry.
camera on me, Matt. Ain't nobody talk about marrying or wiping these chicks, bro. I said be on your woman.
Oh, Chris, we trying to unite the black family, man.
What? We all a family, bro.
Nah, that's the values of the pod, bro. Nah, you're right. We're trying to unite the black family.
man.
We need a little
We can't
toxicity.
advocate for that activity,
Matt is
bro.
looking
You're
for
right,
a
you're
wife,
right.
and you trying to tell him to
You're
pick the one that's washing away
when
her
did Matt ever
sins.
say?
Chris.
When did Matt ever say he
In
looking for a
her
wife?
30s.
When did that ever come out his mouth?
Chris,
Man, you looking for a wife?
Of course he is.
No, he's not. See, no, he's not. He's not.
Matt, you ain't in the streets.
The man that's ready to be a husband would have
Matt
said a
ain't in the
hard yes.
streets.
It wouldn't have been no I mean or nothing like that.
That's because he's not really in the streets. He's 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Y'all letting Matt. Oh my God, y'all letting Matt fuck y'all up.
Oh, so
Y'all letting the collared shirt fuck y'all up. That is a young black man right there. Don't let the glasses or the collared shirt fuck you up.
Conversation was coming from me feeling like I'm not established yet.
No, Matt.
That's a good way to play it,
you're
bro.
looking for a
I like that.
That's
I
a
like
great
that.
way to play it.
Go to
I like
OD,
that.
That's a good
go to ODU. Go to Women Married. That's where they at, bro.
That is where they at. There's some good ones.
I would much rather go to HBC.
I don't know if there's some lives at Norfolk State. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I love HBCUs. Shout out to HBCUs.
I was gonna tell him go to Hampton or Howard.
I mean, I agree.
He said ain't no
They not
wives
at
at
Hampton.
NSU.
No,
They gonna cancel us for that. Willie said that shit, bro.
Please don't post this shit. I am a Spartan. Y'all gotta be looking crazy. Because I'm supposed to be hooking up with you right now.
No, we gonna get breaks. We gonna
I'm
get breaks.
supposed to be fighting
No,
y'all niggas
we
right
gonna get
now.
breaks. We gonna get breaks. You went where? You went where? You went where? Bricks? You went to Norfolk State,
I
right?
went to Norfolk State.
Did you go to Norfolk State?
No.
Bricks' girlfriend? Thank you. Let's move. Thank you.
Bingo.
Thank you.
That's true.
But my kid's mom did. My kid's mom graduated from there.
Is she with you?
And she's a nurse practitioner.
Is she
She's
with you?
doing really
Is she
well.
with you though?
No, the real question is she a wife? That's really the.
No, she's not my wife. She was at one
We
point.
don't want to make this about her. All right, all right, guys.
That's hilarious. All right, come on.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna add that to the
Wait,
pod.
Your wife went to Norfolk State?
Go hold the
She
green
did.
ball.
She did. She did.
Your wife went to Norfolk State.
His wife did.
There are
wives at Norfolk State. There are wives at NSU.
classes with your wife.
I love NSU.
And he married her twice.
I said I love HBCUs. I didn't say
you
nothing
did.
against HBCUs.
Joking. I didn't mean that as a ODU grad. I did not mean that there's
Yeah,
no
they
wives
already
at
on.
NSU.
We're corny over there anyway. We're corny.
Corny at ODU.
ODU ain't corny.
That's an
It
ODU
ain't corny on
outfit.
that resume.
That's like an ODU nigga outfit.
Yo, you gotta chill.
And I'm dressed like the nigga that robbed niggas.
Yeah, you got that black Air Force
I catch him when he on his way to his And then the alert come up on your phone. You like, damn, they got
Another one, nigga.
These white people don't know where they at.
That was you kidding.
Bro, I used to always be like, damn, they got another one. Anyway, man, what's your man attached to? I got a clip for y'all. Y'all are funny. Jesus. Jesus.
The best way to keep yourself is you date somebody, you want to find out if they're attached to Jesus Christ. Simple as that. But they spiritual, so is the devil. They believe in God, so is the devil.
Matt's the only
Matter of
winner
fact,
in
the
the
devil
room.
comes to church more than them. Ladies have to keep you more safe because it's more dangerous who a woman marries versus who a man marries. Because you got to be submitted to this guy. He might lead you off of a cliff. So it's extremely dangerous who a woman marries. So you have to keep yourself completely safe. An evangelist that Randall and I grew up with, she said something I never forgot. Whatever he will not do for God, he will not do for you.
Hey, yo, I ain't gonna hold y'all.
Yeah,
I did
real.
not watch that clip beforehand.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
did
a
not
real
plan
clip.
for any of that to align.
No, that's a real clip. I'm the
really
one
good at this
I'm the one that
pod
posted
stuff.
that clip.
Yeah.
That's a real clip.
attached to Jesus Christ.
Your man got to be
I'm
attached
the
to.
wrong person to ask about that.
No, that's when he was. That's the part you missed.
All right, Chris.
The point
Chris,
here
got-
is just to be aware of like you need to know your man's friends.
Yeah, but it
Like I always
sounds
look at their
good.
circle. Like, are you hanging out with bum ass niggas all the time?
I didn't think of it that way.
I'm gonna say this. If I don't care what y'all believe in religiously, that's not none of my business. But I think Jesus Christ is just symbolic for a code. what does your man follow? And I always say the best leaders are followers, period. A man that's the best leader for a woman is following something that's higher than himself. Okay. So I think that's great. I would tell my daughter that 100 times. Don't get a man that's just running around here doing some crazy stuff. He's following $1 or he's following whatever that's not really going to fulfill him to a degree. And I'm not saying, me and Willie go back and forth with this all the time, not saying a man should be going after money, but I'm talking about on an idealistic standpoint. Some men, their God is $1. So what do you think, where do you think that's going to lead him? A man is just going to do whatever for a buck.
Me and Bricks have talks about this all the time.
Circle would reflect that.
Yeah, of course.
But I kind of took it the way Chris was saying.
Yeah, I didn't agree with it.
Like, it was about values.
Your
like
values.
How,
that's the one.
Yeah, like how Willie was like, we wrote down our values. If you know that he's, like Chris is saying, there's something higher that guides him. He has a different type of North Star. It's not just aligned with money. Then you can see like what he's into. It don't got to just be religious. So
I think that you are 1,000% attached to your mission.
For me,
100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I wouldn't say that it's God to him, but it's I think it's having something that you want, like a set, this is what I want my life to look like. This is what I want to do. This is my purpose.
This is the impact that I want to make.
This is the impact that I want to make on this earth.
But I think it's bigger than mission. I think what Chris said and like just my experience of Bricks as well, I think they're both connected. Like I still think Bricks follows like a certain integrity, a code, or like he's connected to a spiritual being. So he has spiritual practices.
Yes.
And I do think that even for me, like going through my spiritual journey, I have seen that like with all men, like women have higher reverence for men who are tied to something that do follow. So like, and I give the example of like a Muslim, right? Even if you're not Muslim, if you know that a guy practices that faith and you start dating him and he starts talking to you about his faith, you're unlikely to offer him, ham, or you're unlikely to ignore him.
Boundaries are established already.
Or to ignore him when he's praying or meditating. Like for me, like even when I come downstairs, if I see Bricks, he's meditating or he's doing something, I immediately start walking slightly. And I'm not trying to be with him, but I'll have reverence for him being connected to something. So I can imagine even women in your life who truly are connected to you, they have to respect what you follow. So what you said, Chris, is golden. Like at the end of the day, if you can't see that your man is connected or following something, then that should be paused from the beginning. I totally agree with that.
I agree too.
Right.
I think something about the disciplines that make women feel safe on an innate level.
Consistency.
Yeah,
showing that you.
And bro, like I see him, and I remember even when we were at the retreat, like you see people who like meditate, that journal, that do certain things. It still amazes me the consistency by which they do it. It's like every day. So it's the same thing for a person that prays, that's Christian. At the end of the day, if you see somebody who actually practices what they preach and they do it day in and day out, that is a high level of respect. And we talked about this the other day. We want to be respected first, then loved. Or I said that.
No, we all agree with that.
And so at the end of the day, like no matter what, you're gonna have reverence because you're gonna know that man being connected to something is not gonna tolerate certain shit because we see how he treats himself.
100%.
And I think it's super deep too because there are a lot of women out here that follow zodiacs, follow your sign, your birth date, your love language, all that stuff.
Your natal chart.
All those things are extremely general. I'm not trying to say there's no validity to them, but there's way more validity to the actions that this man is taking, what he's aspiring for, what he looks up to. Those things will give you more of a projection than his birth date. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
What he's
Let me
doing.
drop another bomb for Chris Feddison on the Chris Feddison podcast.
Actually what he's doing. And it's easier to follow a man when he knows exactly where he's going.
I'm about to make a piece of content saying the same exact thing when I leave here.
Bro, I'm telling you, and it'll go.
My social media.
I'm telling you.
You got it.
Yo, for real, bro.
When everybody leaves, we put the zoom in on you.
Yo, I'm telling you, we'll set it up, bro.
It means more than your birthday. What you do every day means more than your birthday.
Yo, that shit will be posted in 10 minutes.
Don't play with me, nigga. Don't play with me.
But even with Bricks has a brand, he has a purpose. But his brand is his purpose. So he knows where he's headed. He knows the routines he has to do, which increases his chances of success, which increases the chances of that woman being secure. Like you said, Bricks. It's basically it's just a secure, successful place to be in when you know exactly where you're going or exactly who you are.
And can I say something? My experience with women is like at the end of the day, they as much we talk about being secure, being safe. They feel safe when they can see a man is actually consistent. He's not volatile. He's not susceptible to being moved off many things. So they feel safer, even if like they don't necessarily agree with it. If they know that, hey, this person does this every single day, or this is something that's important to him. At the end of the day, they have to respect it because they see the consistency by which what you live.
Yes.
And so women, there's an innate safety that comes with that. Like, oh God, okay, I know at 7 a.m. this man's gonna get up, he's gonna meditate, he's gonna do yoga, he's gonna go work out, he's gonna work on his stuff. At 6 o'clock he's gonna do this. I go, oh shit, I can at least now know what a potential life could look like with this person because he's following that code.
And it's the conviction too. Also on top of what you're saying, it's like if you can see a man pursue a whole lot. He could be attached to this, attached to that, attached to this, attached to that. There's a consistency there, but it's still like, yo, he's giving up on this, he's giving up on that. Does he really believe in himself? Does he really believe in that? Does he really believe in me? Yeah. And it's attached because you're a choice that he's made. So the fact that you see him making the choice to work out every day and he's sticking to it, it gives you more faith in the fact that he chose you, so he's gonna stick with you even when stuff gets hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not easy to continue to do the same things every day, especially some of the things that we do.
Facts.
It's not easy.
To piggyback on what Willie said, it creates this feeling of certainty. Right.
Yeah.
And it's something that we innately, some more than others, we crave that level of certainty. That's where safety comes from, right? So it's like a definitive like marker. Like this is a source of certainty for a woman. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? And I'm not gonna circle us back to the beginning of John Moran and all that stuff, but I do think there's, like we talked about the thug freedom. I think that's a surface level, like materialistic freedom. It's almost like a surface level freedom. I think being disciplined and actually choosing what you do every single day is the real freedom.
I'm just torn on the job part because for him to be that athlete that he is, he has to have that level of consistency. He has to grind. Like they probably get up 3 a.m. He's shooting shots like he's the best at what he does.
I wasn't really talking about Ja. I was talking more about what's appealing about a thug and that freedom and that they have. I think there's also a side of freedom and discipline. I think that's the real freedom because life, it isn't like, yo, you just choose these things and now you're just hardwired to do these things every day. All of us, I think everybody on this couch can agree. Sometimes you look at the gym and you're like, I don't feel like doing this.
There is no freedom without discipline.
Right.
Even the drug dealer, he has his routines. He has his shit that he got to do every single day.
When you buy that pack and it's time to re-up, you can't spend that money, bruh. He's part of the game.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
And every drug dealer don't feel like hitting that corner every day.
But they do.
Don't feel like it, but they do it anyway. Because the feelings, like we talked about on...
we ain't here talking about the disciplines of drug dealing.
No, I mean, the principles apply.
I agree.
It's true.
Success in anything requires the same principles.
Right.
And don't get it twisted. There's billionaires that are drug dealers to this day.
Facts.
They don't know.
Oh, we already know that.
Facts.
To this day.
This country's ran on drugs.
Right.
Period. I think we aired that one out, bro.
No, that did a good job. We'll do Adam blamed Eve next.
Man, see,
We done took him to church. We might as well stay there.
might as well, bro. Might as well. Y'all gotta have me.
Now you cooking today, bro?
When it comes to respect and love, when God is questioning Adam, Adam blames Eve and God in the same sentence. So imagine this. Imagine me and you going to rob a bank, right? And we rob that and the cops catch us and they're questioning us. And all of a sudden I blame you. The person that's supposed to protect you blames you. At that moment, do you feel like I love you?
No.
Because I don't. Because I've lost and because you don't feel like I love you and you see the person that's supposed to protect you blaming you, have you lost respect for me? Absolutely. So in that moment when Adam was blaming Eve, in that moment, I'm not saying throughout, but in that moment, he lost love for her because he was willing to put her under the bus to try to save himself. And in that moment, when she sees Adam before God blaming her, she loses respect.
This whole entire subject loses me with the word blame attached to a man, period. I don't care what happens in my life. Ownership is always going to be my default response.
Yes.
I'm never, even if I can justifiably place the blame on someone else, I would never do it because it takes me out of my position of power.
Yeah, you met a decision maker.
Yeah, I am the decision. I control this shit. You feel me? So that's where it loses me in general. Like, and the fact that the first man, this was his. It's like, this is why we got a lot of, bitch ass niggas out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we all spawn from this dude.
Chris added this one too, so I'm gonna let him cook up on it first.
Oh, Bricks was going. I think what you were saying is 100%. I'm the same way, bro. I think ownership is the most powerful thing you can take. And I think that I like the clip for the climate that we're in right now. Because, and I don't want us to misconstrue on this podcast, we talk about women all the time, but I think every man in this room can agree that the climate or state of black or melanated people is the black man's responsibility first and foremost. Then everything will fall into place. I think we have a lot of men on the internet that go online and they blame women, and they blame women for this, blame women for that. Not saying that women don't have a responsibility, but black men, the climate that you're in right now is more majorly because of you. Period. It's not because of the white man. It's not because of the black woman. It's not because of the white woman. It's because of you. And once you understand that and take that hard pill that's tough, then we can get to some upside. And you can actually start taking ownership for everything. Because I always say, when you have ownership of the negative, you take ownership for the positive too. It's not necessarily, oh, it's just the negative. The white man's doing this, the white man's doing that. Now it's also, oh, I'm the controller of my life. I'm the reason why I'm in this good place. It's nobody else's but mine.
Yep.
And I think that's where Adam lost out, because he basically portrayed himself.
I have two things to that. One's gonna be a call out to women, and one's gonna be called out to like even the idea of like ownership. Because even in my personal life, like I have an opinion there. Number one, I actually think what you said is so powerful. And I feel like women don't understand it. If women understood that men are the creator of their spaces and they're accountable for the actions and the decisions of where they are, then they would hold men more accountable for the things that happen in their lives.
Facts.
So you would have less empathy for men who are, I'm down bad, or I have this going on. At the end of the day, the man is the creator of that space. Our men, especially black men, we're powerful beings. We have the ability to create. We have the ability to make things happen, especially as we continue to age, as we continue to get smarter. We have access, we have resources. We're in a world of plentiful knowledge. So at the end of the day, if a man's 32 years old and he's come into a space where he's blaming, the man, he's blaming this for why he's not working, or he's blaming this because he can't do this, that man hasn't taken accountability and ownership. And women, like we said this the other day, they validate that man by continuing to be with them and sleep with them.
And give him sex.
Right.
Yeah.
And because they don't understand how much power he has of ownership. And so if they understood that he is an owner of that space and he has the ability to co-create, they would actually hold men to a higher accountable space. So I think women don't even connect to how powerful a man can be when they truly take ownership. The second thing is, I actually talked about this in therapy. I think that at the end of the day, I think I'm so overindulged in ownership and accountability. I think it actually leads to like cognitive distortion of like taking things personal, because I always am accountable for my actions. I think anything said to me, anything that's gone, I'm like, oh shit, that's how you feel about me.
It's your past.
That's that's I over own shit. So if Brick says something like, hey man, like your foot's in the wrong place on a bench press, I'm like, fuck, I fucked this bench press up. Like, cause I take everything so personal. So I'm actually like on the other side of like, I take so much ownership. I gotta learn to like, some shit is like, nah, first this doesn't like my foot. Just so I don't over own it. Because I literally own everything.
That's real. And it's a tricky space between free will and destiny. It's almost like we have control of our lives to a degree. And degree is the strongest word. Like, you can't dictate your life completely. But I think as long as you can try to control the things you can control, which is yourself, I think that's where we can find the power. I think that's where you find true power, when you look within yourself and what you can control. So I don't know. I thought that was a deep video.
No, it was a real good video. It's crazy that Adam blamed Eve.
It is. And they stayed
He
together.
dumb. You shouldn't have listened to her. I'm like, yo, God said don't fuck with his tree.
Can I ask the women in the room, like, do you have examples of like maybe when you guys were in a relationship where you felt like a man, obviously it's not the same exact example I need, but you've seen a man in a space where they started to blame you for things that happened in their life?
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to tell that story because it's so fucking ghetto. It is so ghetto.
You said, have I ever had somebody that blamed me for things?
Yeah,
that
and
were
then you felt
happening
like
to
you
them?
lost respect for him because you seen how when things were tough, he didn't take ownership.
Yeah, he looked at you like it was your fault.
No.
Okay, that's good.
Liddy, you not gonna halfway tell us? She like, nah.
That's good. Man, man.
How long did you stay with bro after that? After you felt that way?
Well, I'll tell a story that I've heard. I've seen a person tell me that they were in a relationship with a man. He had a job. I guess they had gotten into an argument, and I guess the woman came up to the job while they were arguing, and they were arguing in front of the man's workplace. The man ended up getting let go because of the altercation, and then the man blamed that woman for the reason why he didn't have a job for months because of that altercation. And the woman was actually intrinsically took responsibility and said, I caused him to lose his job.
She did.
She definitely did.
No, man, walk away. I'm not doing this at work with you right now. I'm leaving.
But there's a deeper level, and I think people always just This is the answer. So this is what I'm gonna stick with. No, there's a deeper answer there. There's degrees of answer. She was to blame, on the surface level. But that man, moving forward, I would tell my son or my brother, yo, you chose that job.
Yep.
Period.
It takes two people to argue, bro.
But Chris, but I'll also say this though. Number one, they in the story, she was taking him to work. Number one. So you didn't take ownership of the fact that you don't even have
even more there.
You don't even have a car to go to work. Second, two, you haven't even demanded enough respect in your relationship where a woman has respect for the place that you work where she wouldn't do that. Right. Let me tell you about the most gangster women. Most gangster women never in any situation fuck up the bag. I don't care how mad Kim can get at Bricks, she still has enough common sense to not fuck up his business. Because she understands there's a bigger picture at play. But most women will not do that. So my thing is, at the end of the day, you didn't even put yourself in a place where she has respect for your work. And number three, even if you're at a job that even allows for a woman to argue, that doesn't mean you're going to be out of work for 6 months. A man still has a responsibility to go get on his feet. If you truly are upset about something, you disconnect from that woman because now you feel like she did cost you something. Yeah. You stayed, and now you didn't go get employed.
He stayed?
Yes.
That's all.
And blamed her for the next 6 months why he didn't have an employment.
Held her hostage. No. I think even with what you're saying, what you said about you two, I think she cares about Bricks at the end of the day if she does that. Because women nowadays know they can go get another man. You know what I'm saying? Like they see men now, and I'm not saying this is y'all. I'm saying just women in general. They see men, the women that see men as a bag, they know they can go get another one and get another bag. So like at the end of the day. So I think that women, to a degree, if she takes that into consideration, she really cares about that person. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily protecting the bag; it's more so protecting this person.
But when I say protecting the bag, I'm saying that I've had examples where a woman may decide, hey, I'm gonna leave this man, I'm gonna do this, but they're still not gonna do anything that would jeopardize him to a point where, because again, even a man that literally can lose things, or guys that if he has, like, let's say a Navy career, he has a career where something can be very punitive, they're still gonna make sure they're not gonna put that man in a position where other things can occur. You don't know what a man's gonna do when his back is against press the wall. So I just think that I've never met a woman that I know personally that's went after a man's job, even at some of the worst environments. I've listened to women talk about domestic abuse, I've listened to cheating, I've listened to all those things, and they still would say, hey, when it came to the man's job, they had reverence enough not to put him in a situation where he would lose it.
And I hate to turn it here, but I'm just going off of what I see. A lot of women say, and I'm just turning it to women because I think there's power and accountability for women too. Whenever I hear a woman say, I didn't have a choice, I'm saying you cannot be as powerful as you think. I'm sorry. You can't. Because once you take ownership for the men that you choose, the places you put yourself in, what you put in your body, what shape you let yourself get in, that's a powerful woman that can say, I'm the one who has a hand on my life, not anybody else, not any man that I've dealt with, not anything.
It's one of the things I value the most about Kim is that level of ownership, right? And that's a big part of her values, but it's so rare.
Yeah.
That's rare.
No, me and Bricks talked recently about, like, you know, living together, and like if we were to buy a house, like, would, you know, and he had told me, he was like,
I know a realtor.
I know a realtor too.
It's Kim. She's a realtor.
You know, we were talking about people being on deeds, because I asked him, I said, so what does that look like? Would we be on the loan together? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, no. He was like, I read somewhere, and I had to. He was like, if two people have good credit, right, let one person secure this house and let this person be able to go get another crib, right? But there are some people. Why have the debt for two people?
Yeah.
There are some people, but I asked him, I said, so how do you feel about being on someone's deed? If I'm not on the financial part, like, would you put Caitlin on the deed to your house?
I'm on the deed. She was in the military, so we use her VA loan.
Right.
I make the payments. I'm just on the deed though. I'm not actually on the loan.
So with that being said, it's a certain level of, one thing that he knows about me is that I'm always gonna be cool. Like, I'm never gonna do no suckish shit ever. So I think that was one of the things he told me. He was like, I have no questions about it because I trust you enough to know that even if for whatever reason, the worst case scenario is never going to be a fucked up scenario. Yeah. Because I'm always going to choose to be cool.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people are like that. I never understood
business and money make people like that,
and that's why I hate to say
mindset.
Right.
Wait, but it's also having an attachment to something. Now,
facts.
My homegirl, she got a car for her girlfriend. She's a lesbian, so her girlfriend, she co-signed a car, right? And was a really nice car. She's never had this kind of car. And when they split, the girl was so like mad. She was like, "You're not gonna take my car." And she made it so like obvious that this car meant so much that it was the one thing that she would tell her like, "Yo, I'm coming for my car." So it became so we're not attached to anything. If we're not, in my belief, I feel like if we were in a house together and things were not harmonious, there is no attachment that we have to a material thing that's like, "Yo, I'm gonna make this, life hell." Like I think that we would both say, "Didn't work out. Let's handle the business and let's move forward."
Yeah,
It goes back to what people idolize and follow. A lot of people praise these material things, bro.
They do.
And I understand, and I'm a firm believer in principle. Like I'm not gonna knock anybody for their principle. If you paid and you grinded for that car, cool. But I think there's also a degree like when you step into these romantic relationships where we say we love each other, if things don't go our way, we get bitter and we say, "I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna hurt you, I'm gonna do this." And that's the attachment too. You attach to this vision or your ego or whatever.
For sure.
If me and my wife split, period, she's on the deed to our house, but I'm the one paying for it. I got the loan. I secured the house, period. But if we needed to, I'm gonna make sure you straight. You was my wife. You was the mother
me and
of
Chris
my
was just
children.
talking about it the other day. If me and Caitlin was to split, even though I make all the payments, we still split in whatever profits,
Right.
50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be good. And she's obviously, like you said, the mother of my children, all those things. But that's not like we're not thinking about that. But
And that's the people don't think. So you think you attacking. This is how stupid some people are. You think you're attacking your partner, but if y'all have a child together, you're really ultimately attacking your child too, stupid.
yeah,
If I sat here and I said, "Fuck her, she ain't getting nothing," that's gonna put my kids in a dire position.
yeah.
I'm not just taking care of her. But
I think
that's how some people are that dumb.
It's weird out here.
He will always say, like, I'm very, very, and I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but I always want people, exes, whatever, I always, no matter how crazy shit got, I always want somebody to be able to say, like, "Yo, XYZ happened, but she's mad cool." Like, I'm always going to go out in a cool way.
It's the respect. And I think Willie talked about that. We got to start putting respect over love to a degree. I'm sorry. Love is great. It's a great thing. It makes you feel good. It makes you look at things differently. But respect, that's what's everlasting. That's what's going to stand the test of time.
That was the first video me and Caitlin did on relationships, respect over love, right? They say more women do want to be loved over respected, but most men, 99%, we want to be respected first. And even nowadays, even her, she said respect over love. More women feel that way too. We all want to be respected, bro.
And men got to learn, and young men got to learn especially, it's natural for you to want respect, but the best way to get respect is to give it.
No, but I mean, I think it was one of the first conversations I ever had with Bricks, the alley-oop, is like the idea of respect being a form of intimacy. When women can respect you, it's a different level of intimacy because they don't respect a lot of men.
Yeah.
And so I remember the conversation like yesterday at his apartment, like, hey, like if I show up like X, that's automatically going to differentiate me from 99% of guys because they don't have that level of respect. And if they respect me, I always are going to be able to at least be, hold a conversation with someone.
And one thing that women got to understand is that's probably the most genuine and quickest way to a man's love.
Bro, I was about to
give him
say,
respect.
I got a text the other day that was like, "I love you," but right under that was like, "I respect you." And I was like, damn, that shit hit different than just the "I love you" text.
Boy.
That "I respect you" text is, you know
So
what I'm
let me
saying?
get you guys'
Ladies, tell your man
opinion.
you respect him.
And mean it. Make sure you mean it.
And mean it.
So when I had a conversation with somebody once when they were talking about Nipsey, right? And like how when Nipsey died, because we were talking about whether Nipsey Hussle cheated on Lauren London. And because the last part of his life, they was doing really well, I was like, nah, I think he kind of grew out of it. And the person told me that was like, nah, it wasn't you think that Nipsey Hussle wasn't fucking chicks? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to tell you, nobody came forward. And he was like, that's because he's respected.
Yeah.
You know, for you to think that he doesn't have chicks, he was respected. No girl would ever, you know what I'm saying? Like he was respected as a man, so they would never come
That's a
to
different
his
level.
brand
woman
with Nipsey.
and try.
That's
You know what
that's
I'm
my
saying?
brand.
Like,
That's definitely on brand.
but to think that he didn't, of course he did. He's Nipsey Hussle. But the bond that he had with whether they're his friends or whatever, the bond that they had, they knew to never ever disrespect that man and come to his wife. So, I mean, I think that is definitely
None of my
respected.
chicks would ever come to you, baby.
Hey, look. Bricks beat me because I was thinking it, but I was just like, I can't say that. I'm gonna get aired out when I get home.
Look, that's gonna be the new way to tell someone they love you. Like, yo, none of my side.
They would never.
But
They
you know
would
what's
ever.
never disrespect us like
You know
that.
what's insane with that narrative? Because I don't know if that's true or not. We don't know. But I also think those women have a certain respect for themselves. Some women don't really see when they're disrespecting themselves. Like if you came out and was like,
That's
"Oh, I was
valid.
effing Nipsey
And
Hussle
at
on the
what
side,"
cost? You looking
right? Like a side chick. That's
Yeah.
what you look like, but
Look
you're not
real
respecting
crazy.
yourself.
I
People
like
don't really
it, bro.
know what respect is.
Do side chicks and side dudes save relationships? Do they make the relationship easier?
Well,
I know
better?
Willie's position on this.
Willie is the one that brought this topic
Willie.
forward. I'd like to make that clear.
topic.
Go ahead,
I did
Willie.
not develop this topic.
Yo, you guys are pandering. It's a topic.
Yeah, I would.
I
Never.
did not develop this
I would
topic.
Never in my life.
Side
Ever.
chicks.
Never.
What are those?
What is that? No,
No,
what's a side chick?
hypothetically, let's be real though. Do side chicks save relationships?
No.
Do they make it a little easier for you at home?
No.
I think
So
if
So y'all
that's
don't want
true,
to pod,
you're in the
y'all
wrong
don't want to
relationship.
pod with me for real.
Facts.
Willie,
No.
come
I think
on.
if that's
I'll
true,
walk down this path with you.
Look, first and foremost, I do think as you get older and you start to be more intentional, I would say the answer is no. I do agree with Bricks. I agree with the evolved answer here. I know what you guys are
No.
gonna say.
Take
Wait,
my
wait.
pod into a different
Wait,
space.
but
We've been involved the whole time. We went to
Right,
church and
but-
everything.
But I will say this though, and I'm just gonna speak very candidly. I think people look at side chicks and side dudes as it's always intimacy or it's fucking.
Yeah.
I'm still going to say that people, of all people, have people that's in their life that they can count on. They can call them friends and call them this. Sometimes they're going to be the same sex. Sometimes they're going to be the opposite sex. That do help create balance and order in their lives that helps them have romantic relationships. So I think it's very safe to say that there are strategic people that come in. Sometimes they may be considered a side chick. Maybe they're being intimate. Maybe they're not. That help them to be able to think and lay out things that help them to be better in the relationships that they're in. Just because I don't have intimacy with you doesn't mean that there's not people in your life that are of the opposite sex that help you sort out and be able to give you guidance that makes being in a romantic space easier. I'll say that.
That's
Hold
kind
on,
of that's the
guidance.
contradiction
Hold
to
on,
what you
no.
said yesterday, though, because we played the game, we played this little card game, and he was saying like, I forgot what the question was, but Willie was basically saying like, I'm not settling, I'm going to hold out for who gives me all. You know what I'm saying? So like, my thing is, how does that?
So he's
how is
lying
that-
on my pod. Is what you're saying.
No,
Let her finish.
No,
Get
I'm
his ass.
sorry. That's not what I meant to say. But that's my thing. Like, if you feel like this is what is going to make my relationship feel whole, I don't think that Willie will call a situation a whole thing until he gets every single thing that he wants, and he's not settling for less. So to me it sounds contradictory, because you're saying, hey, listen, I might have this, and I know in my mind I'm not fulfilled in this part, and I might find those things in another person. So my thing is that how you would be though? Like, are you okay with that ultimately?
No, so I'm going to repeat back what I said. I'm going to say what the question was. The question was, if you're in a relationship, what are things that you miss about someone else? I said, it's hard for me to miss someone because if I'm in a space with someone, there's nothing I'm going to sit down and miss and not have in the current space. I'm going to get everything I desire. And I've said this on the podcast several times. You deserve what you desire. So if I miss that somebody used to have threesomes, I'm not going to be with somebody who doesn't want to have threesomes. If it's something I truly desire, I'm going to go have it.
Yeah.
What I just said in this statement is, I do think that we all have people, call them friends of the opposite sex, call them whatever you want.
That's not a side. It's the word side chicks and side dudes.
And I was very clear. So, because I wanted to give the evolved answer, because I know everybody here is going to pander. Yeah,
I'm not gonna. Bro, I just said I'm cooking, man.
Wait.
Yo, I got my chef hat on. I'm ready.
You evil.
No, I'm a rock right there with him.
Let me finish.
Go ahead, bro.
So before y'all pandered, I said that
I'm not gonna pander, bro.
Everyone has people in their lives that allow them to show up better in romantic spaces because of the roles that they serve. And what I also want to say is that the idea of a side chick, we all try to equate to intimacy.
Yes.
And what I'm saying is, if that's your definition, then I'm going to say no. But if the definition is, do we all have friends of the opposite sex or people in our lives that we can confide into. If Caitlyn was tripping, if Lydia was tripping, or Kim was tripping, that we can go in and say, hey, this is what's going on, and she can give you guidance and actually tell you, hey, this is how you can show up better for your relationship. We all have them, like it or not. Deny it all you want to. They exist.
This boy Willie.
I concur.
This boy Willie got that goalpost, and he just running around the room.
No. Now to Kim's point, and to y'all point, hold on. It is the side chick thing, because when
what
we
is
do,
a side chick, y'all? Come on now, we're not doing
when we
this.
say
We're not
side
gonna do
chick
this.
or side
know what a
dude,
side chick is.
Thank you.
You got to fuck in order to be a side chick?
Yes. So hold on. It's Tamika B. Allen. Go ahead.
My anime heads. Do y'all watch anime? Anybody that watch anime know that nigga that got the glasses on him with the glare in it? That's the evil motherfucker. That's Willie ass. Willie, the little plotting motherfucker with the glare in his glasses.
Go ahead, Kim.
Shit.
On the note that he showed me prior to this, it said, do side chicks' dicks make relationships better? So it is a sexual thing.
Okay,
like, do you having...
I put dudes up there.
Yeah, you put dudes, but on the note, it said...
Dicks on his note, do it? Get his ass. Hold on. You can put dicks.
Get his ass. It just say dick.
It does say dicks. Put the dick on the phone.
So wait.
Hold on. It did say dicks.
So
It do say dicks. I didn't even read it.
So to Kim's point, if we're talking
All right, you're right.
intimacy,
My fault. I read it.
I agree that having additional intimacy in a relationship that the other partner is not aware of does not help.
Okay. I didn't know you was talking about side dick, brother.
I want to talk about this one time where I feel like I was fulfilled, right? Because I had kind of a weird situation. I was in the streets, right? But I had a friend that took care of all my emotional needs, right? So I had
he was the corny
best
one.
guy friend.
He was corny. You ain't like him. Cool.
You know this guy.
Oh no, you're not gonna slander my guy over here. You're not gonna. And then, no.
But he
Hold
was
up.
like, I guess he would be like everything
He
a
liked her
boyfriend
too.
was except for the dick.
But you don't know.
I got
You
the
didn't
dick
give him
elsewhere, and I
none.
was fulfilled. I was getting 100%, like Willie said.
Okay, Lydia.
See, but no. See, you friend zone the guy that really likes you. That's not the same. We're talking about platonic. I have friends that like Willie said, I can chime in with them. It ain't nothing sexual.
It's
It's
not
none
a
of that.
side chick.
Yeah, that's not. No, I agree. That's not a
I
side
didn't know
chick.
that it was.
I didn't even know it said dicks on there. I'm sorry.
but
guys.
I gotta-
that
No,
stuff does
okay,
not
dicks-
say
hold on.
He
Dicks.
was
Let's just clear it
being a
up.
boyfriend to me
Dicks
because he
means
wanted to
side
be
dude.
that.
Yeah.
But I have a question because y'all are gonna pander because y'all
Stop
in relationships.
calling us panders. We're not gonna pander.
I'm not. I know nobody's gonna. But this
I'ma
is what
keep
I
it
will
at
say.
that well.
I know, but this is what I'm gonna say though.
Willie,
So wait. So are there everybody? And I already know his answer. So I know his is yes.
I can't wait till my
But
turn.
I want to ask you, Chris. So every friendship you have of the opposite sex, Crystal knows about, right?
I've only had one genuine female friend in my life.
He's Chris Featherson, I believe.
You're right. You're right.
They don't even want to be friends. I know. They don't even,
God damn it.
God damn it. I've only legitimately had one female friend in my entire life.
I know what Willie's saying on the surface level. If you got a side chick, say you married and you got a side chick, say you and your wife are going through whatever, she going through post.
I don't like calling them side chicks though.
And you got a side chick that supplements certain sexual desires. You can go home a better refreshed man. I get
I'm
that.
not even saying
But
sexual
what?
desire.
But when you wrote the question, that's what I thought.
You are pandering. You are pandering.
Yes, you are. No, he's the panderer. Because when I read the question, that's what I thought. Like, oh, when you have a side chick, like, okay, your girl stressing you, you go slide off over here. You come back home, like Chris said, refreshed, a little bit different. I can deal with your bullshit a little differently. I'm not a panderer, nigga. You know that. I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. I feel what you're saying, but I don't align. But when you saying, oh, I got a friend that I talk to,
That's
it's
different.
platonic. That's not a side chick.
What I'm saying is, do I think it's possible? Yes. But do I agree with the idea that you're in the wrong relationship if you are having to go outside of the relationship? Yes. Unfortunately, I think both can be true. That's the truth.
I have a question for
it's
you.
not
How long have you
ultimately.
been married?
I've been married about a year, basically.
Okay, so how long have you been with your wife though?
A long time, since
Okay.
like 2012.
So let's say, you guys have kids, life is lifing, right? And then she just stopped wanting to give you dome, right? It's like from now on. No, but from now on,
Showing
it's
your age
like
now.
she has a serious conversation with you.
I ain't heard
And
dome in a
she's
minute.
like, listen,
Word.
I'm not into it anymore. Or when she does do it, you could tell she's not into it. What do you feel
she's got side dick
being
somewhere.
in touch? No, that's not true.
No,
She stopped sucking dick?
I got to answer. No, but
She
I got to
sucking dick
answer.
My question is,
What the fuck y'all
if
talking
you
about?
have a chick that let me tell you, I have a really good friend in my life who is married. He has 2 children, and he would never leave his wife ever. but his wife is a prude. Like she's tired, whatever it is that is going on. And he makes it very clear, I love my wife. I'm never leaving her. He has a girl that will just give him head for like 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like now, and she just really enjoys.
Whoever you are out there.
Let me drop another bomb for you.
If she giving head for 2 hours,
She
that head whack.
enjoys.
No, seriously, that's a fact. 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a long.
Yeah, anyway, let's not get caught up.
Yeah, I ain't
That's a
finished
the
long
details yet.
time.
But she enjoys giving head. And this is just a continue. And he might slide her a couple dollars or whatever, but
Oh my God,
she is
Kim.
somebody that genuinely just
she
likes
know one, though.
giving
Put
head.
money on the dresser.
Huh? No, I mean, whatever. It's
No, Cash App change.
whatever the situation is.
Okay.
I think that it allows him to function well in his marriage.
But you know,
Sure.
with the
That
bridge.
supports Willie's idea.
You know, but you know,
that's what I'm saying. I
got
feel what
something.
Willie's
If
I
I
got
didn't like
something for
giving
Willie. We
head-
already talked about the surface level, like.
Hold on. Kim was about to
And
walk
this is
down a
all
crazy
this goes
path. I
down.
want to hear.
Go ahead.
Do we have a say? Do we? Is this
Absolutely,
a safe
baby.
I had an ex before, right, that lived in another state, and he used to like to go to spas and get happy endings. By all means, go get your dick jerked every day. If I'm not there, by all means, I don't
Think
care
of
about
me.
that. That is not a
But-
problem.
but-
If I did not like giving, me personally, if I did not like giving head, right? Not saying that I do.
Or don't. Not saying anything. Not trying to
Bricks.
You could have just contract.
Bricks.
You could have just kept going.
Bricks. Blink twice. Blink twice. Bricks.
Confirming or denying.
Maybe not.
Let's be very
I'm
clear.
trying not to be fresh.
Let's be very clear.
I'm
Who she's in a relationship
I'm
with?
trying not to be fresh. Okay?
Let's be very clear.
And let's
I
be
respect
very
that.
clear. We
Nah,
all
she
know
respect
Bricks.
him. Let her
Yeah.
respect
So
that
we all
man.
know his
Let her respect that
requirements.
man.
Let's
Keep
make it
respecting
clear,
that man.
okay? But my thing is,
This pod is about to end. You
I
gotta
never
go home
flinch
with him.
at anything she gotta go home with him.
if for whatever reason, I would. And when you met me, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I did not.
I had to teach her
if
a
I
little-
never sucked a dick ever again in life,
Bricks
I would
like
be
my
completely
name
fine.
is Bricks. What the fuck? You know what the fuck going on?
Shut up, Chris.
The fuck?
I'm listening.
Why, bro?
But if I knew that I was not into it, or if I didn't, if it's just something that I did not feel, I would be okay. I'm being honest.
I
My
know this about you.
problem is the intimate, like emotional shit. If somebody wants to come and give him head and it doesn't come with drama or problems, and I didn't feel like doing it, by all means, go get
But
your dick
I
sucked.
think it's just about fulfilling the sexual needs of your partner.
here's the
and if
kicker,
you can't,
though.
allowing
Yes.
them to get that.
What were y'all being? What were you being when you said? When Brick said I like getting head, you said I don't like giving head. It was honesty.
Right.
What do most people do with side chicks or side dudes? They lying about it.
Right.
There's no relationship without honesty. I'm sorry. You don't have a relationship with yourself. You don't have a relationship with that person because you're not being who you are. Period. You're leaving out a section of who you are. The nigga that like to go get head on every Thursday.
I want to be clear though. He would
Period.
leave. If he's a person that if he doesn't want to have to go get head from another
Bro,
chick.
let's just
if
say
his
this.
bitch is not giving him head, he's out.
Let's just say this, because we talk
seen
about
it
all
for
this.
less.
We talk about all this polygamy
I
and,
tried it.
and multiple chicks and all that stuff. I love
Y'all
women,
crazy.
but as a man, period, y'all be annoying sometimes. It's cool to just have one.
Yeah.
Why do I want to deal with 5 of y'all?
And we got daughters, so
5 of y'all issues, 5 of y'all monthlies, 5
Would
of
you
y'all
be willing to
concerns.
give up? Hold on a second. So if your wife, for whatever reason, said, "I'm to be honest with you, I'm not going to give you head as often," right? Would you be willing to give up, just knowing in your brain that you're never going to get very bomb head?
I've been presented certain freedoms, and I said I have other things I need to do with my life.
But you gonna double
Period.
back for those?
No, I'm not. I said no. This is the thing about me, and I'm only speaking on me. I'm not speaking on anybody else. You can go seek multiple whatever you want. I have certain spaces in my life that I don't feel fulfilled in, and I have 2 children. Period. If I'm sitting here talking about, I need to go give a lot more time to other women that I don't really care about, and I'm exchanging that time that I could be having with my kids or pursuing certain things that I want to do in life. I'm sorry, that's not on my priority list. I like to have sex every now and then. Sex is cool. Sex is cool. I get it when I want it, and that's it. I'm not a dude that needs sex 3 or 4 or 5 times a day. I'm just not.
But
and
I'm
just
saying
speaking for me.
that would only be if I wanted to keep him Okay, for me, and I know in my brain, like I'm just really not feeling sexual. It's some certain things that I'm going, but I don't understand that because we're great.
But you know what? I'm gonna speak to what you're saying. You're a woman that loves her man. Some women love their ego more. I don't like giving head, so I'm not gonna give it. Okay, do you think that nigga like paying all the damn bills all the time? Do you think niggas really love that shit?
No.
Do you think niggas say, "Oh, we bills, I get to pay for this"? No, the fuck we don't. That nigga loves you, so he does it. If a woman sit here and says, "I don't like doing this, so I'm not gonna do it," that's a woman you don't need to be with. Period.
I'll go on the complete opposite side of Chris. Like I hold intimacy in a very high regard. So for me, if a woman came to me and said, "Hey, I'm not giving head no more," I'm out. Because because intimacy for me is like a differentiator than how you show up with anyone else. You may be friends with other guys, you may talk to some other guys, you may even give people your counsel, but intimacy in a relationship is supposed to be prioritized for me. And I do believe depending on our commitment, and you said the word wife, if we're married, I'm sorry, you gotta be pussy popping on the handset. All my dreams from an intimacy perspective need to be accomplished. Maybe not in a relationship, but intimacy for me. If I start saying, okay, what's the difference between me and John that you're friends with? Intimacy is the key difference.
I would never marry a woman that I couldn't brag about our sex life.
Bingo.
Facts.
I agree.
Period. Facts.
Bingo.
And you know what the biggest thing is? Remember I said about honesty? You know what's directly correlated to honesty? Enthusiasm. That's what men really, really want. I'm not trying to say that makes sex amazing.
I'm sitting here listening to y'all.
Want a
I'm like,
woman that
I went
you know
from turning down car head to no head. I'd be like, what the fuck happened? We got to split.
It's because you turned down car head.
Bro,
That's why you don't get hit no more.
That's because I don't want to crash the car, Chris.
But Chris,
Man, drive slow. So you don't gotta see. You want to push the whip at 90 all the time. Slow down.
But it goes back to like you said, and I do agree with the idea of like you said, the honesty part. And for me, like honestly, like even what Kim said, like in my experience, there's rare women out there that talk like Kim. And I can tell you statistically what they how their backgrounds are. And I can tell you statistically, from my understanding, the women who are more driven by ego. I'll let you guys make your assumptions.
I'm going to buy Willie a whiteboard.
Most women,
right here.
I hear what you're saying.
Most women are more driven by the ego. Most women would rather you leave and protect their ego than actually be more logical and say, hey, if this is something that you're lacking, I still want to be with you, and I'm willing to support you in doing something that I may not be able to support you in.
Somewhere.
Most women's ego is so big, they rather go to their friends and say, he left because I wouldn't give him head no more, and stand on that than actually say, hey, we made a decision that this was something that I don't want to do anymore, but I also want to make sure I support his dreams and the things that he wants or things that he values, so we made an agreement. That's the logical approach what Chris said. Both can be true. Both can be, I love you a lot. Hey, this is something that I don't desire, but also want to make sure your desires are met. So how do we find a way? That is really the more evolved space. The ego drives 99% of those conversations. 99% of the time, it's I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this. And if you want a bitch that does it, you need to bounce.
Yeah.
And it's connected to a conversation we had about logic and emotion. Emotions drive your logic. If you can't be sitting here saying, "Oh, I love this man to death," or "I love this woman to death," but when things clash with your ego, you ride with the ego. Yep. You can't possibly love that man that much because that love would override that logic. You'd be like, "Yo, if I love this man and truly desire this man, I'm gonna please him." Same thing with women or men.
I was about to say, me and Willie was just talking about this yesterday.
But it's called compromise.
It might not be head, it might be marriage. I might not believe in that. But because I love her and how I feel about her, I'm willing to make a different decision because of how I feel about her, where I place her in my life. But
this conversation is really showing me how much you love me, because she has a really big ego, but she never allows her ego to get in the way of resolution, to get in the way of communication, right? And it's a feat. Yeah, the ego is a motherfucker, bro.
Ego and emotion. When you mix them both together,
bro.
And I'm of the mind that said that ego is not necessily a bad thing.
No,
I've never said
not
that.
At all.
No, it's
not.
No,
but that's what I'm saying.
It has function.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
So, but I want to clear up just so we can tie this up. So we're all in agreement that the reason why side chicks aren't valuable to a relationship is not because of the idea of getting sex from another partner. It's the dishonesty of the side chick.
Facts.
So that's the only sin here.
Facts.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh no, the dishonesty is definitely the sin.
If you went to your chick and said, "Yo, I want other chicks," and she said, "I'm on board with that," genuinely,
there's not cheating. There's nothing wrong with that.
Not cheating.
Yeah. I don't even know if you call her a side chick then. She's
but you know
just
what?
the other girl.
Part of me, I don't be trusting that shit.
now.
I don't be trusting that shit. I don't trust this is what you're really good with. I feel like this is a trap.
So I have a question.
No.
I asked you, I think I asked, like, a week or two ago, and I asked him, I said, if for whatever reason you know, let's say he didn't want to go on dates. Like he just wasn't a person that just didn't want to go on dates. But you knew that I wasn't fucking. But I wanted to. I mean, I don't think that he.
Hold on, wait.
You would not be able to
create the context. Are we dating? Like what's happening?
We're together right now.
Okay, and I didn't want to go on dates.
Like he's not a person that's like I don't like to go out to eat with somebody. You know, like I'm not on my thing where I'm eating out constantly. Would you be okay with me having that from somebody else if it meant no sex? Like if I'm not fucking them, but I just hang out with them. We hang out, we have a good time, we go have nice.
Nah, bro.
There'll be a place of nuance there. I believe there'll be a place of nuance there.
I'm not gonna. I love you, and if that's something that is important 100%. To you, I'm gonna do it.
Bricks is like
that's exactly what
Bricks is like. Facts. I don't want you dating other men more than I don't want to be going on him. So 100%. It's just going to be a mitigation process from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that flies in the face of what you just said, because some women won't. Like you just said it. Like a woman should still say, "Hey, maybe I don't enjoy head at the same level I did in my 20s, but because I know it's something you value, I'm gonna find ways." And you know what's funny? There's women out there that I've talked to that because their man did love, and I'll use sex because that's what we're talking about, loved head, that they actually became invested in the idea of being a good head giver. And it
your girl, if she loves
is a choice, bro.
Everything you love, she will try to be invested in.
Love is a choice.
I think that is a thing that like a man has to do, especially me being in the position that I'm in now. I'm not a virgin. Obviously, I have 2 kids. You know, I've been fucking for 20 plus years. I think, 2
decades in the game.
Wow. But I think it is when a woman feels safe, right? And when there is nothing like feeling. One thing for certain, and that I know for certain, is that, and let me not, because there's a lot of people that would probably disagree and be like, you can't speak in absolute. I would bet my money on that he would never cheat on me, right? That alone is like, it allows me to be uninhibited with him. When I feel like that's me and I don't have to worry about him doing other stuff, it allows me to be in an uninhibited space. Right. I've grown with him in a year. You know, like we have a thing where he's the person that I am sexually today, he created. You know what I'm saying? Like through
hold up.
All right, Brick.
So
no, when they give you that kind of kudos, you got his face up. He's like, y'all ain't know.
Conversations, yeah. I mean, it's fun to hear on this in this setting, of course.
But that's true. But I think that that's important.
Some joint watching this episode right now, like, can't fucking stand this shit.
Yeah.
Bitch ass nigga.
Yo, don't let Chris start whispering
in their teeth like a motherfucker.
y'all body that other than the question being weird. I can't believe you put dicks in the note.
No. The answer
side
was like
dudes,
chicks,
bro. Side dudes.
I get it, but I didn't read it. I put
side
dudes.
Dudes, bro. Just say side dudes.
Willie's weird. Side dicks. Do y'all want to do this last?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can we take a break?
Can men
not
be
another
submissive?
break?
No, we can roll with Lydia.
Yeah.
Yeah, forget Lydia. Get your FIFA.
Everybody,
get your FIFA ass out of here.
FIFA. We're not stopping for her, but no, I mean she off camera, so for the most part. But make sure if you're in the middle, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Hit the bell.
She want to take that too.
Oh, that was great. Sounds great.
Can men be submissive? Short answer is yes. It's not a good move, but what y'all think?
I think I'll just start off. I think submission is more of a strengths and weaknesses thing, bro.
Okay.
Just me a strengths.
Oh,
and
like if
weaknesses
that's
thing.
something she's proficient at, I should fall back and vice versa. Yeah.
And I already told y'all why men should lead their households, and I'm not going to repeat it again. But the right leader knows who he's facilitating. He knows his people. He knows his family. He knows where to place people. So in that, you're submitting to a degree.
Yeah.
It's just the example of if your wife is better with money than you are. Don't the ego thing again. You like, oh, I'm gonna run everything. I'm the leader. That's not a leader, bro. That's not a leader. That's the leader's the one that
Delegation
says
is a big part of leadership.
Delegation
I think there's
is the
levels to
leadership. You
submission.
should know, like, all right, you handle the money, but whatever.
Right.
I think there's levels to submission, and sometimes the defining word for certain scenarios might not necessarily be submission. Is it overall allowing someone to control like you said, a different aspect that you might be better at in your household or your marriage? Yes. Would I look at him if he says, hey, I need to be able to concentrate on this, so I need you to be able to take care of XYZ, and that big part is finances, as an example, because I might have a better way of, organizing or making sure that our things are in line. Would I look at him and think he's less of a man? No. I think that would just mean to me that he trusts me enough to give me, some sort of control over that part to make sure that we're straight.
There's a certain
We're so
confidence.
mature here. God damn it.
There's a certain level of confidence in intellect with that.
Yeah.
Just period. Like, that's the strongest thing you can do is delegate.
I was about to say that, Chris, because really, the question, can men be submissive, is more for red pill, blue pill content where we talk about submission in a different way. But with us, shit, I just think even having a family and doing all that, I'm submitting to them, period, anyway. Like, I don't believe in marriage, but I'm gonna marry that girl. I don't. It's a lot of stuff that I thought I would never do. People be talking to me all the time, like, damn, I didn't even think he was gonna have a kid. I submitted to all those things.
Man, a man in his real leadership role is the biggest servant in the house.
Yeah, like, and then being submissive and servitude is one and the same.
Yep.
But if you want to, go ahead.
No, you got it.
We want to talk about what Willie says all the time: beta males. There's a compliments,
and that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So red pill, blue pill, you're talking about beta males when you say submissive versus well, we're talking about maturity stuff. We're so mature.
Yeah, that was a mature.
My fault. Mature.
And it was a mature take. We could talk to the other side. I feel like balance is always in play. I feel like compliments are always in play, no matter what people say. You're going to be drawn to somebody who compliments you at the end of the day, or you're going to stay with somebody who compliments you. So there are more masculine women out there as the days go, and men are becoming more effeminate. There's data to support that. Yeah. It's unfortunate. That's a whole different topic. But I do think there's a space where certain weaker or more effeminate men can coexist with more masculine women.
I did go buy oat milk.
I also, but just me personally, I'll speak to my beliefs. I feel like there's a difference between your subconscious and your spirit. I feel like in some cases with women, I feel like there's more natural masculine women. Then I also feel like there's more women that are subscribing to a masculinity as a survival mode kind of thing. So they're not innately or naturally masculine. So when they draw those men in, I feel like it's almost like a codependency rather than a compliment. It's like women go through so much, so they feel like I have to be more of a man so I don't get hurt. Yeah. But in their core, they're not that. Yeah. So they draw men that are more effeminate. And I always say when men are in an effeminate frame, I don't feel like it's healthy. I'm not gonna say there aren't some men that can be healthy in that more submissive role. There are, but I'm just speaking to just the toxicity of it. There's a toxic side to this, and I feel like it creates just unhealthy dynamics. That's just my beliefs.
I have been told before that I am masculine. I've told before that I am alpha, right? And I'm very aware. I am just who I am. But for me, in the roles where I have to play these, strong, masculine, whatever the case may be, in my relationship, it's the one thing that allows me to feel feminine. You know what I'm saying? Like my masculinity or my alpha is never going to dominate over my man's alpha. If I feel like my alpha can dominate yours, I cannot respect you. Yeah. So for me, in that type of setting, my man knows that I'm going to get shit done. That I'm, like all of the
And these are things I value about her.
Right.
But women have testosterone too. We're not going to sit here and talk about that. And I think Bricks talked about it a few episodes back. I believe in that too. Some men have estrogen too. It's just percentage levels. That's it.
Sometimes it's not attached to gender.
Right.
It's just masculine and feminine energy. And if you guys have balance, if you guys find equilibrium, whatever that looks like in your dynamic, then it's going to work. I think it's a science equation.
Yeah.
For real.
But I also think that I'm a firm believer in what's understood does not need to be said. And what I do hate about the times now is we have stepped into a movement of the whole know your worth kings. Do you believe in it?
Know your worth king? Yeah.
Yeah, the people that are know your worth king.
Yeah,
to me it's
I don't do the king thing, but men gotta know their worth.
No, 100%, but that's a given. You know what I'm saying?
You say that,
I'm talking about people who talk about it and make
That's corny.
You know,
Right.
The whole manosphere basically came about because men don't have that kind of messaging constantly. It's all about what women want, what women need, what we need to be doing for them. It's never about like, yo, know your value, bro.
Listen, I think most of the thought leaders in the manosphere space is mostly corny niggas.
I agree.
Facts. It's almost
It's
like
corny.
And
It's
they be
almost-
lying.
It's
They
almost
be
like
capping big
it's
time.
crazy?
But
When we was in college, it's almost like the modern day party promoter. We real niggas know that the most of the party promoters was corny niggas trying to get in positions of power, just like cops and shit. It's the same thing.
yo, Chris is crazy today.
No, I'm just being
Hey,
real.
crazy today.
Like those were the niggas. They knew party promoting could get them
He
close to
called
the
them cops,
female. They could.
It's kinda- that shit makes a lot of sense.
They could segue pussy through getting access to the club, and we knew those were the corny ass niggas. I'm not trying
That's
to say it's all of
bars.
them, but most of them niggas was corny.
That's bars for sure.
Yo, Chris is funny.
For sure.
What you said? No PC shit. We got
Yo,
to
you
step
going
this shit up.
crazy today, boy. Yeah,
Hey.
going crazy.
Killed it, dude.
I
Yeah.
will say too, I think that there are men that I know that are in their late 30s and 40s that, especially if they've come into their highest level of success in their most recent years, you still get excited by certain things. And that to me
Oh, yeah,
is
it's
the
new
turn
to
off.
you.
When you're 40 and you're still chasing bitches, to me, it makes me feel like
what
you
I'm
really
saying.
didn't get bitches. Or
That's
you
what
know what
I'm
I'm saying? Like when
saying.
you've
You
gotten,
might not
when you've
have.
always gotten girls, it's a level of coolness that you get when you reach a certain age. And to me, it's a turn off when you're still moved by it.
It's a
as
lack,
girl.
and it's also a
That
lack
is
of
really my biggest
understanding.
issue with the manosphere and red pill content for the most part. Because like he said, you can, when you've been around like real niggas, you be like, oh, these guys is kind of,
Right.
It's a
they
lack of-
capping, but it's a lot of guys that, like you said, incels and all kind of people just sitting in their mama's basement or wherever they're at, that they not getting that kind of action. So when they see, shout out to Fresh and Fit, I fuck with Fresh and Fit, but when they see them throw a girl out, they're like, yeah, man, we don't got to take that shit. Because normally they would take that shit.
Right.
Or they would be
No, I
thirsty to
understand
be,
it.
you know what I'm saying? They would be thirsty
Yeah.
to be with them girls that they be having
And I
in
think
that
that's
room.
the majority of men.
Yeah, no, it is.
That's the majority.
That is the majority, but that's
Yeah.
why 80% of women are only fucking with 20%
Yeah.
of the men.
Yeah.
So
We're just in a room with that 10%.
Yeah, but
so our perspective is different.
And I think a lot of the content is extremities, but I mean, I still
It is.
believe that there's a lot of red pill content that is. I still think men should consume it so they understand it, and I still
Right,
think there's
that's
that.
the other
Absolutely.
but no, that's what her main question
Absolutely.
was like, do we subscribe to like know your worth? And we all do that.
Right, I
but then
do.
it's like it's levels to it
And I-
because they be like, oh, like you said, extremities.
And I also I'm probably not as like aligned to like depending on age and like if you get bitches this that and third. I think people have seasons, right? So like for me, like if you came out of a marriage or something like that, you may have a season where you're gonna be in a like plentiful space.
But you're not also not trying to commit to a woman
Right, absolutely.
and still do that.
No, 100%. And so what I'm saying is like
Nor is those things exciting.
Right.
That was her point. Like
no,
you
but-
never got bitches ever.
No. But there's seasons of it, right? And I will say this though, because women's done it for years, and we even put a movie about how Stella got her groove back. You're gonna have different seasons for different spaces in your life. Dating in your 40s, dating in your late 30s is different than dating in your 20s. There may be a different reason why things are more exciting for you because of the space that you're in. We all can say what we want. If dating when you're a 20 million type nigga versus being a guy with $10,000, you're gonna have a different level of excitement. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are. So at the end of the day, yes, depending on the season that you're in, the intentions that you want to build are going to determine what you should be doing in that dating space. But I do agree with what Kim is saying is that everything should be handled with based on your intentions. You are in control. You shouldn't be excited if you are the one building that space. So if I made a decision that I'm in a space where I'm gonna be fucking 100 bitches, I'm not excited about it because I've already built the intentionality of this is what I'm going to do. And so for me, it's like, hey, at this time in my life, in my mid 30s, dating, making 250K plus is different than when I was dating when I was 40K. I am sorry. You want me to talk the same. You want me to be the same, saying, hey, you are corny or you're gonna be the normal because you should have been always getting bitches. No, it's different now. The game has changed. Don't expect to talk to the nigga when he was 25 different than when he's 35. I'm up and I'm gonna talk different. I'm gonna act different. I'm gonna come different. I've experienced some shit. Things should be different. I should not be dating the same way I was when I was 24.
Facts, and
That's big facts.
I think that's what she's saying. I think y'all
Yeah.
low key saying the same thing.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's a mental thing. It's depending on the season. I think there's 45-year-old men who have intentions to say, yo, I'm about to go spray the block. And honestly, those guys when they're 40, 45, to me, the guys who actually get it and actually get to the bag and they get older, those guys to me actually are fucking more bitches bitches in their mid 40s because there's less of them.
I think it comes with understanding too. I don't think it's necessarily just I had my fair share of women, so now I'm in this age and I don't feel. I think it's understanding too. I think we understand women better and we understand ourselves better, so that makes us understand our worth better, which goes back to know your worth. So I'm not gonna spread myself thin with all these basic joints. It's going to be exciting with the quality of woman I can pull. The quality of woman I was pulling at 20, and if I was single right now, the quality is going to be different. I'm going to be bringing different jumps through the podcast door. Right. It's just not going to be this. It's not going to be the same.
No, but it shouldn't be. That's what I'm saying. Even your intentions may be different. Like I think I told my son this other day, and I say this about me. I think you find things out about yourself through multiple different interactions. I think that when I talk to a lot of men who get to the point where, like, let's say Bricks, right? Let's say he's saying, hey, I'm like Kim said, this person's not going to cheat on me. That's because this person for years have been able to find himself through other relationships and dynamics. All those people he was with helped him become the man that he was today, because now he's very intentional. When I met Bricks, he could literally narrow down exactly what he wanted in the spaces he wanted, and when things weren't in alignment, he was able to get out. That takes time. That takes action. That takes a lot of ebbs and flows.
Abundance.
Right. So to me, it's like, yo, and you got to have that abundance mindset, and you got to be able to be quick to leave. Everybody finds those things out at different times in their lives.
Right.
And there's some guys who probably from their 20s and 30s, they were married or they were focused on college, books, whatever the case was. Michael B. Jordan, right? Maybe he was so focused on acting. Maybe he wasn't dating at that level that he's dating now. Now that he's dating, he's going to be coming from a different experience.
But I agree with everything you're saying. All I'm saying is that if Michael B. Jordan had got success, that level of success at 21, compared to him being 36, I think, he's not going to move the same because he understands differently. Right. He understands women differently. So it's just I think it's a quality over quantity thing.
It is.
If Michael B. Jordan had that success at 21, he'd probably be a hoe. Out here going crazy.
And it's when you meet the man, like, I mean, and the woman too, like, it's really like the idea of like where you're meeting the man at. Like you said, meeting a man in like late 30s is going to be different than when meeting him when he was 21. And I think I asked Brooks this question. He said no. I thought he was going to give me another one. I would say, hey, is there anybody in your life that you used to be with that if you met them at a different time, would things have went different? He gave me no, but I think there's a lot. I think a lot of people do consider.
No. You didn't say would things have gone differently.
Like, would you be with them?
Oh yeah, that's a different question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't want. Yeah, it was. Would it be? I was like, he said no, but I think we all have had people on our timeline that we think that just from a timing perspective, things just didn't work out because I was in a different space or whatever the case may be.
Intentions change, yo. In high school, our intention was sex.
Right.
Period. Back then, we would drive through the projects for some box. That's not a peaceful place.
I would never
but
do that.
We've
definitely been to all the parks.
No, that's true.
No, he's a fact.
Everybody's been to some parks that
everybody's been to some
talked about it.
We've all been out there and they're like, who you here to see? Yes.
Exactly.
I listened to that too. I was listening to that. That's crazy.
We all had a Shireen in
We definitely did. We had no business being out there. Niggas, hey, who you here to see? I don't even want to tell them.
Your sister? Your sister?
You go out there with your boys. You got to go out there 3-4 deep.
Yeah, that's real.
Y'all body the pod today.
Chris did a hell of a job.
Make sure you
like, subscribe, hit the bell.
I appreciate everybody that listens, watches, shares it, all that. I really, 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 truly do. New merch on the way, I swear to God. And we out.
I like podcast, Daddy.